Frisia never thought that one day he would be forced to such a point by an unknown little person. If it was Sun Wukong, it would be fine, but now even his son has come out and brazenly talked about sins and revenge. Scion, don't talk about big principles, it's disgusting. I am standing here today. Come and kill me if you have the guts. Frisia was also extremely furious, and his whole body exuded a suffocating aura. The arm that had been torn off by Son Gohan had unexpectedly been restored at some point. When they reach the realm of true God, physical damage actually has little impact on them. As long as they are willing, they can recover at any time, although it will consume a lot of energy and blood. Son Gohan had calmed down by now, with a gleam in his eyes. Frisia, I know you want to provoke me, but it's useless. Although we are both true gods now, you can't be my opponent. Come on. Frisia also felt how powerful he was now. Was he really at the god level? That was why he felt completely different now. Although Son Gohan on the other side still put a lot of pressure on him, he was no longer completely powerless to resist like before the breakthrough. The reason why he was injured by Son Gohan just now was, on the one hand, that he did not expect Son Gohan to break through so quickly, and on the other hand, it was because he was a little too proud after his own breakthrough. Stupid monkey, do you really think you can defeat me? I was just careless just now. Son Gohan took a deep breath and stopped arguing with Frisia. A violent aura surged out of his body, and the space around his body was constantly crushed by this aura, but it had no effect on Son Gohan. Although Frisia spoke lightly, his face was also solemn. To him, the Son Gohan in front of him was simply a freak. He still remembered that when he was on Namek, Son Gohan was only 5 or 6 years old, and he could easily suppress his second transformation after being angry. Thinking about it now, it was incredible. He was afraid that he had always been attracted by Son Goku and forgot the talent of the man in front of him. Although Son Gohan was very powerful half a year ago, he estimated that his combat power was only about 10 billion at most. He did not expect that he would grow to this level in just half a year. This talent is definitely far more terrifying than Son Goku. If he doesn't kill the opponent today, he may not have another chance in the future. Frisia stared at the opponent's increasingly strong aura with cold eyes. At the same time, he mobilized the energy in his body. The only 3 remaining horns on his head had already flown in the air under the guidance of his mind, emitting purple light. A pair of demon wings stretched out behind him, and the patterns on the wings were completely lit up, exuding a terrifying momentum. As the momentum collided, space cracks thousands of meters wide appeared and then disappeared, indicating that a devastating war was about to come. There was no living being within a radius of thousands of kilometers. Even Piccolo and Trunks fled thousands of kilometers away under the momentum of these two people. Brother Gohan. Gohan, you've really grown up. The entire galaxy was shaking, and countless lightning bolts appeared in the void, as if warning, as if wailing. At this moment, all the creatures on the surviving planets, whether intelligent or non-intelligent, looked up at the sky in horror. At this moment, all instruments that could detect life energy reactions issued warnings, and those that were not shut down in time continued to explode. At this moment, all the spacecraft still in space lost power, and some were even directly destroyed. The barrier of the entire mirror spacetime seemed to have reached a critical point. It was completely unable to withstand the aura emitted by the two true gods. It emitted a charming halo, trying to prevent the destruction of spacetime. Piccolo clenched his fists. Is this the power of a true god? Jane is so strong. Trunks was equally solemn. Not good, this power. If it continues like this, the entire galaxy will be destroyed. However, the two of them were unable to get into the battlefield and could only watch the two people in the center. Piccolo suddenly asked, Trunks, do you still have relatives on Earth in this time and space? Trunks nodded. Although he was the only scion left in this time and space, Bulma, Chi-Chi, and even Master Roshi were still alive. You should return to Earth as soon as possible and protect them. I will just watch over them from here. Trunks also knew the seriousness of the situation, nodded, and quickly flew towards the Earth. In the center of the battle, lightning with a diameter of more than hundreds of meters fell from time to time. This was a warning from the mirror spacetime. The momentum of the two had already reached the extreme. If it continued like this, the entire mirror spacetime might collapse. Suddenly, both of them punched in unison. Wherever their fists passed, the space shattered, and a bottomless black vortex appeared at the point of collision. War. At some point, the two had collided with each other, and each blow was devastating. The black vortex was bombarded by the power of the two and slowly grew larger, and finally a ray of light appeared. In another mirrored spacetime, the originally peaceful space was suddenly shattered, and a black crack hundreds of kilometers wide and thousands of kilometers long appeared in the universe, and two extremely strong auras came from the crack. The barriers of the two mirror time and space were directly pierced by Son Gohan and Frieza with their powerful strength. The aura was directly transmitted from the crack to outside the Milky Way star field, crossing the endless space and reaching the realm of the God of Destruction. At this time, Vegeta had just returned from the Grand Palace and had not yet had time to familiarize himself with the power of the God of Destruction. Suddenly, he felt that the destructive energy he had just obtained was about to leave his body and was completely out of control. "What's going on, Mr. Weiss? What was that aura just now?" Weiss was also in a state of confusion. Why did such serious things always happen in the seventh universe where he was? Who has comprehended the law of destruction and become a true god? There is also a force that is the law of violent power. In the Milky Way star field, the laws of the two mirror time and space are intertwined, emitting powerful auras. The collision of power between Son Gohan and Frieza directly broke through the barrier of time and space, causing the two time and space to begin to connect. As the laws of time and space intertwined, the two mirror image time and space actually began to merge again. However, unlike the last time, the spatial stability of the entire Milky Way star field increased dramatically, and it was once again enveloped by a mysterious force. When Whis and Vegeta tried to enter, they found that they could not break this power. Weiss was shocked. What's going on? Are the two mirror images merging again? Vegeta also felt the horror of the power before him, but after all, he was not a true god and had no intuitive understanding of it. Damn it, what on earth is going on? What on earth is going on with the seventh universe? Why do such uncontrollable things always happen? Whis told Vegeta to observe here, while he prepared to go to the High Priest to report what happened here. On the other side, the battle between Son Gohan and Frieza has already reached a fever pitch. In order to get rid of Son Gohan's entanglement, Frieza dived directly into the spacetime channel. Naturally, Son Gohan was unwilling to give up and kept following Frieza's steps. While fighting, the two flew deeper into the spacetime channel, 100 kilometers, 500 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers, and they didn't know how far they went. Son Gohan and Frieza were not aware that their battle led to the interweaving of the laws of the two mirror spacetimes, which eventually resulted in a stable spacetime channel in each of the two mirror spacetimes. At the end of the spacetime energy channel, a mysterious space of unknown length and width of tens of trillions of kilometers emerged from the endless void. The two of them continued to fight fiercely along the time and space channel, but it didn't matter how long it took, maybe a day, or maybe 10 days, they finally came to an independent space full of ancient and desolate atmosphere, but the two of them had already started a real fight and rushed straight in. This battle lasted for nearly half a year. The two men no longer knew how far they had penetrated into this space. At the same time, both of them were almost covered with scars, and some even had mutilated limbs. Frieza's demon wings were torn off in half, and only one of the three horns on his head remained, and his tail was worn away by 2/3. Son Gohan was also severely injured. His left arm was broken at the shoulder. A law of destruction constantly prevented his arm from regenerating, and his whole aura was less than twice that of his peak period. In half a year, the Milky Way has changed. The mirror spacetime where Trunks is located has completely manifested in the void of the seventh universe. The two Milky Ways are in a twin state, and in the southern Milky Way of the two Milky Ways, a spacetime channel with a radius of nearly several hundred kilometers has appeared in each of them, and the end of the channel is that mysterious space. It took a full 6 months for the mysterious power shrouding the periphery of the twin galaxy to disappear, but an inexplicable aura was flowing above the barrier outside the star field, and it was impossible to break through the barrier and enter without destructive level strength. Vegeta had been guarding outside since Whis left. When he saw the mysterious power disappear and Whis never came back, Vegeta directly broke through the outer star barrier and broke into the Milky Way star field without waiting for Whis to come back. This energy is, Trunks. How is it possible? Isn't Trunks already reincarnated? Vegeta followed the induction and flew towards the Earth. About 10 minutes later, a blue planet appeared in front of Vegeta. How is this possible? What on earth is going on? How did Trunks' energy become so powerful? Trunks returned to Earth half a year ago. Because of the battle between Son Gohan and Frieza, almost the entire galaxy was affected. Fortunately, the Earth is on the edge of the galaxy and did not cause any damage. When Trunks returned to Earth, he had been sensing the changes on the battlefield. However, as the battlefield between Son Gohan and Frieza shifted, Trunks was not sure what the final outcome would be. Because Vegeta became the god of destruction, his aura has changed. When Vegeta stayed in outer space, Trunks thought that Frieza had come to Earth, because the aura of the god of destruction was almost the same as Frisia's destructive energy. However, Trunks knew that the aura from outer space was far less pure than Frisia's. While Vegeta was concentrating, Trunks had already soared into the sky and soon arrived in outer space. When he saw who was coming, Trunks couldn't believe it. "You are the father, that's impossible. Why do you have the same aura as Frisia?" Vegeta still doesn't realize that the galaxy he entered is another mirror galaxy. When he sees Trunks clearly, he realizes that although it's still Trunks, he is much older than his son. "You're Trunks. What the hell is going on?" Trunks himself is also confused now, because he has been protecting the Earth for half a year and does not know that the two mirror time and space have been fully manifested and exist in the 7th universe at the same time. Faced with the sudden appearance of Vegeta, Trunks does not know how to deal with it. "Are you really my father? Why does your aura resemble Frisia's?" Vegeta heard Frisia and said, "I am Vegeta. As for why, I think it is because I am the god of destruction now." "You kept talking about Frisia. Did Frisia appear? Where is he?" Trunks replied, "I don't know. Half a year ago, Gohan fought Frisia in the southern galaxy. The entire galaxy was affected. Now we can't sense their presence anymore." Trunks then slowly told Vegeta what happened half a year ago, and Vegeta was shocked. Vegeta finally realized that the Trunks in front of him was actually the Trunks from another mirror time and space that he had seen briefly 8 or 9 years ago. "Trunks, how strong are you now? I feel like your fighting power is no less than mine." Trunks' condition is very strange. He often maintains the form of a Super Saiyan, but Vegeta feels an inexplicable threat from Trunks, even though he has now become the god of destruction and has reached the limit of destruction. At this moment, the great demon king Piccolo also rushed over, because not long ago, Piccolo suddenly discovered the breath of the god of destruction, but he did not expect that after meeting him, he found out that it was Vegeta. "Vegeta, what's going on? How did you become the god of destruction? Where's Goku?" Vegeta briefly recounted the recent battle between the two universes and the replacement of the two cosmic gods of destruction. How could Piccolo not see that the angels were deliberately weakening the Saiyan strength? "Vegeta, you guys." Vegeta looked at Piccolo's expression, not knowing what was going on. "I know, Piccolo, but if we didn't agree at that time, we would probably be executed immediately." When Vegeta arrived at the Grand Palace, he discovered that the angel Whis was not as he had imagined. She seemed to have a natural hostility towards them, the Saiyans. Although he didn't know why she didn't kill him and Kakarot, he thought she must have other purposes. However, they had not yet sought revenge on Frisia, and they were unwilling to die like that, so they could only accept their fate and take on the role of the god of destruction. When the destructive energy entered their bodies, they found that their own energy had become the nourishment of the destructive energy. Although they directly entered the destruction limit because of this, their own potential was also destroyed by the destructive energy. They might only be able to stay in the destruction limit state for the rest of their lives. "Mr. Piccolo, how is brother Gohan now? Why did you come here alone?" Trunks thought, isn't Piccolo watching the fight between son Gohan and Frisia? How did he suddenly come to Earth? Piccolo replied, "I couldn't intervene in the fight between Gohan and Frisia. Not long after you left, they broke through the barriers of the two mirror spacetimes and entered. 10 days ago, the spacetime channel was stable, and I entered it, but there was no trace of the two people. After Son Gohan and Frisia broke into the spacetime tunnel, Piccolo wanted to enter it, but was always blocked by a force until the force dissipated more than 10 days ago. Piccolo followed the spacetime channel, only to find that at the end of the channel was an independent space. Ancient auras flowed in the space, and the spatial structure was extremely stable. In Piccolo's opinion, without tens of millions of combat power, it would be impossible to fly, and without the strength of an emperor, anyone who entered would be torn to pieces by the intertwined auras. And even if it is an emperor level, one would have to be very careful inside, as the entire space is full of dangers. However, Piccolo has been searching for nearly 10 days but has not seen any trace of Son Gohan and Frisia, so he returned to the mirror time and space on Trunks' side, only to discover that a breath of the god of destruction is heading towards the Earth. "What, Gohan disappeared?" Piccolo nodded solemnly. He really didn't know how to explain to Sun Wukong when he met him. The three finally decided to explore the mysterious space again, hoping to find Son Gohan. In the southern Milky Way, Vegeta looked at the stable entrance to the spacetime channel that was hundreds of kilometers wide in the distance and was amazed. He saw various laws intertwined around the entrance, forming mysterious patterns. Without the strength of an emperor, he might not even be able to get close. However, the three of them were all super strong people who could destroy their limits. They looked at each other, then stepped in. After spending quite a while, they finally arrived at the mysterious space that Piccolo mentioned. He didn't think so when he heard Piccolo talk about it before, but now that he is there, even with Vegeta and Trunks' destructive level strength, it seems incredible. It is filled with ancient atmosphere everywhere. Vegeta even feels that if he can be tempered in it, the effect will probably be no worse than destroying the God realm. Moreover, even they can only barely sense things within a few hundred kilometers, and the spatial structure is so stable. You have to know that they have the power to destroy the limit, but they have no way to escape into the subspace and fly. No wonder Piccolo has been searching there for nearly 10 days and still can't find any trace of Son Gohan and Frieza. It was unbelievable that the entire space was filled with the aura of ancient times. Although they had learned some of the circumstances of the ancient battlefield from Piccolo, Vegeta and Trunks still couldn't imagine it when they were there in person. Piccolo asked, "Is there no way to notify Goku?" Vegeta looked helpless. "There is no way." After Kakarot became the god of destruction, he was directly taken back to the 6th universe by Bardos. Piccolo looked helpless. "Then let's split up and search for him. Remember, if you find Frieza, run away immediately. Even if he only has 10% of his strength left, we may not be able to deal with him." Vegeta naturally ignored Piccolo's suggestion, and after the three of them determined their respective directions of search, they each went their separate ways. In the center of this mysterious space, Son Gohan and Frieza have both fought to their limits, and their battle is now completely maintained by willpower. "Son Gohan, I have to say, you are really strong, much stronger than your father." Son Gohan did not expect that Frieza could actually hold on with him until now. You know, he was suppressing Frieza at the beginning, but later Frieza actually kept breaking through during the battle. "Frieza, stop talking nonsense and get your death." Son Gohan attacked Frieza again. By now, the energy in both of their bodies was almost exhausted. Both sides were fighting with their physical bodies, but even so, each blow was far more powerful than the destruction limit. The sound of earth-shattering collisions continued to be heard, but it seemed that there were only 2 people in the entire space and no spectators, otherwise the aftermath of the fight between the two would be enough to tear a powerful man with Emperor-level combat power to pieces. The 2 figures kept crisscrossing each other, punching and kicking each other. Up to now, the 2 were fighting completely based on their wills. The battle with Son Gohan is probably the longest battle Frieza has ever experienced since his birth. Although Son Gohan has some advantages up to now, it is unlikely for him to kill Frieza. Such a high-intensity battle made them feel exhausted even though they had become true gods. Son Gohan also knew that even if he tried his best now, he might not be able to kill Frieza, but he felt unwilling to do so. After becoming a true god, Frieza naturally no longer relied on his naked eyes to see the outside world as he did before. His spiritual sense could clearly feel that the entire space was very strange, and even he could only sense an area of several thousand kilometers. However, the Son Gohan on the opposite side was also a true god. The 2 sides were entangled, making it impossible for Frieza to escape from the battle. In the center of the mysterious space, a passage hung down from the void, and in the passage, a figure appeared in a panic. Sapphire was an angel from the Angel clan, and his cultivation had reached the middle stage of true god. A few years ago, the battlefield between gods and demons was suddenly in crisis, and a group of super strong men suddenly appeared from nowhere, constantly hunting down the Angel clan. In just a few years, the Angel clan had lost more than 10 members of the clan who were at the limit of destruction, hundreds of people at the peak of destruction, and nearly 10,000 people at the early, middle and late stages of destruction. Later it was discovered that this group of people were actually the Scions and Namekians from the 7 ancient tribes, and they had grown to an extremely terrifying level. Judging from the feedback results, there were at least 2 Scions who had reached the destruction limit and 3 Namekians who had reached the destruction limit in the battlefield of gods and demons. As for whether there were true gods, even the angels had not investigated it. A year ago, Sapphire learned from the captured strong men from the true demon realm that this group of people were actually the remnants of 2 clans who escaped from the 7th universe into the true demon realm. So he led the team personally and prepared to intercept and kill them in the battlefield of gods and demons. As an angel in the middle stage of true god, Sapphire was naturally extremely powerful. In addition, he had been fighting in the battlefield of gods and demons for many years. Even the ordinary late-stage true gods might not be his opponents. However, this time, Sapphire was defeated. A few months ago, the Angel team led by Sapphire finally figured out the opponent's route after nearly a few months, and finally discovered that there were only 2 people on the other side. An adult Scion and a kid about 8 or 9 years old. Naturally they started fighting when they met. He just didn't expect that the adult Scions on the other side were not much weaker than himself, and the kid who was 8 or 9 years old was even more violent. Although he was only at the limit of destruction, he was able to hold down his other members by himself. However, what shocked Sapphire even more was that the adult scion, who looked to be about 20 years old, easily suppressed him. If the fight between the two had not torn a spacetime channel in the space, allowing him to seize the opportunity to quickly escape into it, he would probably be in danger now. No, I have to leave here quickly, otherwise I won't be able to leave if that person catches up with me. Sapphire knew that the main reason why that man did not follow was because he was worried about the other young scion, but he also knew that with the addition of that scion, his team would probably be killed except for him. Sapphire randomly chose a direction and fled quickly. After about dozens of minutes, Sapphire stopped. Well, who is fighting? Sapphire felt that not far away, two powerful forces were fighting, and the aura was not too strong. Not knowing where he was now, he quickly flew towards the battlefield. In the distance, two people were fighting desperately, and both were seriously injured. Son Gohan and Frieza, who were fighting, suddenly stopped. The arrival of Sapphire made the two of them stop fighting for a short time without knowing who was the enemy or friend. Sapphire looked at the two people in the field, a Super Saiyan 5 and a level 7 Ice Demon, it's really rare. At this moment, Sapphire suddenly felt that he was lucky. He actually met a true god who was both injured. The key point was that they were the enemies of their angel clan. Son Gohan looked at the newcomer solemnly. He was so engrossed in the battle with Frieza that he didn't notice a third person appeared outside the battlefield. Moreover, Son Gohan could feel how powerful the other party was. Even in his prime, he might not be the other party's opponent. But Frieza was thinking about how to get away. The battle with Son Gohan had already exhausted Frieza. Now the sudden appearance of this person looked like someone who was not easy to deal with. As if seeing through Frieza's intention, Sapphire suddenly accelerated, knocked Frieza down with one punch, and said, "The Frozen clan who have comprehended the law of destruction cannot be left alive, otherwise the gods of destruction in the lower universe will be difficult to control." So fast. Frieza had already been seriously injured, and now facing Sapphir's attack, it was naturally difficult for him to resist. Damn it! If I hadn't been seriously injured in the battle with that monkey, how could I have been knocked down by you? However, in fact, Frieza knew that even in his prime, he could not say that he was 100% the opponent of the other party. The moment the other party attacked just now, Frieza knew that the other party was definitely a true god-level powerhouse like him. Son Gohan sensed the other person's aura and said, "You are an angel. How is that possible? Apart from Whis, there shouldn't be other angels in this universe." Sapphire thought, universe? Weiss. Isn't this a battlefield of gods and demons? Sapphire didn't react for a moment. Could it be that the passage led to the lower universe? But how could the space in the lower universe be so stable? Confused, Sapphire asked, "Is this the lower universe?" As Son Gohan answered, he mobilized the energy in his body to eliminate the law of destruction that Frieza had injected into his broken arm. "Yes, this is the 7th universe. Who are you?" At this time, Frieza also discovered that Son Gohan seemed to be delaying time, and also seized the opportunity to recover from his injuries. Sapphire laughed, "Ha ha ha ha, Universe 7, Whis is really derelict in his duty, allowing you Scions and Ice Demons to grow to this point. Sapphire's lineage is not on the side of the High Priest. Although the angels all respect the ancient Angel King, there is also competition within the clan. The leader of Sapphire's side is also an angel at the limit of a true god. His status is equal to that of the High Priest, but there is some gap between them. If the dereliction of duty of the angels in the lower world was exposed, even the High Priest would have a hard time." Thinking of this, Sapphire immediately took action and imprisoned Frieza and Son Gohan, preparing to bring them back to the battlefield of gods and demons, which would be a great achievement. Son Gohan and Frieza had already been severely injured, and faced with Sapphire, who was in the middle stage of true god, they had no power to resist at all. After leaving Vegeta behind, Whis returned to the Grand Palace, but found that the High Priest was not there. After waiting for a few days, he still did not see the High Priest return. He then went to the 6th universe and found Bardoss for help. After hearing what Whis said, Bardoss naturally knew the seriousness of the situation, and then took the God of Destruction Son Goku with him. When Whis returned to Universe 7, he discovered that the mysterious power that had previously shrouded the Milky Way had disappeared, and Vegeta was nowhere to be found. But what surprised them was that with his and Bado's abilities, they were unable to detect the situation inside the Milky Way star field. Fortunately, without that mysterious power, they could directly enter the Milky Way star field. The three of them stepped directly in, but were surprised to find that the space of the entire Milky Way star field had become extremely stable, even not worse than the Kaioshin realm. Weiss, did you notice that there is a spacetime channel in the South Galaxy? After entering the Milky Way star field, with the cultivation level of the two late-stage true gods, their spiritual senses could naturally explore the entire star field clearly. However, when they explored that spacetime channel, they found that it was blocked by a force. Sister, I've discovered that Vegeta is not in this star field. I think he must have entered it. Bardos and Weiss took a look at the same time and found that something was unusual, then the three of them flew towards the spacetime channel. In the battlefield of gods and demons, Chi Tian was originally fighting with Sapphire, but unexpectedly, the originally extremely stable space of gods and demons was torn into a spacetime channel by the battle between the two, and the opponent took the opportunity to escape. Otherwise, he would have obtained another true god-level angel heart. Because he was worried about Wu Tian's safety, Chi Tian did not chase him immediately. As a perfect descendant of the Scion royal family, Goten has been constantly honing his skills in the battlefield of gods and demons for several years. Now he has already mastered it perfectly and his combat power has reached the limit of destruction. This time, when he went out hunting with Chi-Tian, he unexpectedly ran into Sapphire. The true god-level Sapsil was stopped by Chi-Tian, and the remaining 6 angels who were not true gods were monopolized by Wu Tian alone. Among the 6 angels, 2 of them reached the limit of destruction, and 4 were at the peak of destruction. Facing the siege of 6 people, Goten was merely suppressed but his life was not in danger. Goten perfectly inherited the style of Super Saiyan, fighting with great force and violence. For a moment, even the 6 angels working together could not gain an absolute advantage. With Chi Tian's return, the 6 angels were frightened, and Wu Tian took advantage of the 6 people's distraction and suddenly attacked, killing 2 weaker angels at the peak of destruction in succession. No, don't be distracted. But they didn't think that with Chi Tian's return, they would have no chance of leaving. The battlefield ended quickly, with Chi Tian's joining, and the remaining 4 angels all turned into angel hearts in less than 2 minutes, becoming the spoils of the 2 brothers. Wu Tian said, "Brother, I haven't had enough fun yet, you can solve it in 1 or 2 moves." Chi Tian replied, "Stop messing around. That true god-level angel just escaped through a passage. I'm going to chase him now. Do you want to come with me?" Wu Tian replied, "Come on, let's go together." Chi Tian said, "Then come into my inner world." Wu Tian was very envious of Chi Tian's inner world, but unfortunately he had no way to practice that technique. After Chi Tian sent Wu Tian into the inner world, he chased directly towards the space-time passage through which the angel had just escaped. In the South Lania River star field of the 7th universe, Broly left the demonic empire a few years ago and embarked on a journey to find his tribesmen who had retreated to other star fields. Unfortunately, he only found one branch of the tribe in the South Lania River star field. However, this branch of the tribe was also in crisis at the time. The strongest combat force in the tribe was only tens of thousands, and there were only a few thousand people left. When Broly found them, they were actually being attacked by other universe people. If Broly had not arrived, I am afraid that this last branch of the Scions would have been wiped out. For several years, Broly has been protecting this tribe and started training them. Unfortunately, this tribe is not as good as the Scions on the original planet Vegeta. After several years of development, only some members of the tribe have barely reached a combat power of 200,000. However, they can already protect themselves in this star field. Since Broly awakened a few years ago, his strength has been steadily increasing, and now he has already reached the level of a true god. Seeing that the Scions here are on the right track, Broly is ready to return to the Milky Way after setting up the barrier to see how the Magic Empire is developing now. Broly, who had already reached the level of a true god, was naturally faster than when he came. It took him less than an hour to enter the Milky Way star field. With a sweep of his spiritual sense, he found that the Milky Way star field today was no longer what it was a few years ago. He also discovered the space-time channel in the southern Milky Way space. Broly discovered that the former demonic Martial Saint star was gone, and the former Sun Tian and others were also gone. He felt that everything had become so strange. After sensing the time and space channel, he went straight towards the time and space channel. In the mysterious space, Son Gohan and Frieza were both injured. At the critical moment, the angel Sapsil suddenly appeared, picked up their heads and imprisoned the two. Frieza was furious, "Damn it, I never thought that one day I would be imprisoned." Son Gohan did not expect that his battle with Frieza would end like this, but he also knew that now that he had fallen into the hands of the angels, he would probably not have a good ending. Sapphire led the two of them and carefully approached the space-time passage they were traveling through, because he was not sure whether the scion he met in the battlefield of gods and demons had also followed him down along the space-time passage. Piccolo, Vegeta, and Trunks split into 3 groups and searched the mysterious space, hoping to find Son Gohan as soon as possible. In order to catch up with Sapphire as soon as possible, Chi Tian flew directly into the passage from the battlefield of gods and demons, and soon appeared in the mysterious space. Hey, the atmosphere here actually has an ancient flavor. At this moment, Piccolo, who was looking for Gohan, also happened to come to the exit of this space-time tunnel. He found Chi Tian coming out of the space-time tunnel and thought it was Son Gohan, so he hurried forward. Gohan, are you okay? Chi Tian was stunned. Gohan? Are you calling me? Although Piccolo's aura felt familiar, Piccolo's current form was completely different from before, and he was not recognized at first. Who are you? Piccolo wondered why Gohan didn't recognize him. After carefully sensing him, he found that he just looked like Gohan, but his aura was completely different from Gohan. Who are you? Chi Tian replied, Who are you, the Ice Demon? No, your aura is different from that of the Ice Clan, but rather like a Namekian. The opponent was just a powerful man with the limit of destruction and posed no threat to Chi Tian, so Chi Tian answered. Otherwise, he would have taken action directly. Piccolo is now in the Namekian's demon transformation form, and it is precisely because of this that Chi Tian did not recognize Piccolo. Piccolo replied, You should be the Gohan from another mirror dimension. If I remember correctly, your name is Chi Tian, right? Piccolo then directly released his demon form and returned to his normal Namekian form. Chi Tian finally recognized Piccolo, You are Uncle Piccolo from another time and space, how come you are here? Piccolo quickly transmitted the whole story to Chi Tian through his telepathy. Chi Tian was shocked. He didn't expect so many things to happen after their magic martial empire left the 7th universe. After listening to this, Chi Tian immediately expanded his spiritual awareness and took in all the movements within a radius of thousands of kilometers. Soon, Sapphire's cautious look appeared in Chi Tian's mind, and at the same time, Chi Tian discovered that Son Gohan and Frieza were imprisoned. Chi Tian told Piccolo what happened, and then the two began to hide their auras and ambush near the spacetime channel. The closer Sapphire got to the spacetime channel, the more he felt that something was going to happen. Suddenly, his heart was beating fast, and Sapphire fled quickly. He didn't even have time to take Son Gohan away. He only had time to capture Frieza. It's you. You actually chased me to the underworld. When Sapphire saw Chi Tian, he knew that most of the angel members he led had probably been killed. However, Sapphire knew that he was no match for Chi Tian. The moment he saw Chi Tian, Sapphire actually fled away at an extremely fast speed. Piccolo rushed directly to Gohan. Gohan, how are you? I was careless. I didn't expect a true god-level angel to suddenly appear. Chi Tian did not chase after Sapphire, but came directly to Son Gohan. Amazing, he has already reached Super Saiyan 5, the same form as his grandfather. Piccolo said at this time, This is Chi Tian, he has been to our time and space before. Only then did Gohan realize that this person who looked almost exactly like him was actually more powerful than he was. Grateful. At this time, Chi Tian easily broke the power of Sapso's confinement, and Son Gohan was directly released. However, after nearly half a year of fighting, Son Gohan relaxed and fell into a deep sleep. Sapphire originally wanted to return directly to the battlefield of gods and demons through the spacetime channel he came from, but he didn't expect Chi Tian to chase him down. Having fought with Chi Tian before, Sapphire knew that he couldn't be Chi Tian's opponent, so he decisively took the imprisoned Frieza and fled far away. Although Frieza was imprisoned, he was not unable to speak. However, Frieza had just seen Chi Tian's face clearly and integrated the memories of the soul of Frieza in another time and space. Of course, he knew that the man just now was the son of another Sun Wukong. Considering that Sapphire, who was able to easily imprison himself and Son Gohan, fled away without even the courage to fight after a single encounter, it can be imagined that the man's strength is definitely at the level of a true god. Frieza didn't want to die in such an unclear way, so he laughed and said, You seem to be afraid of that scion. Sapphire seemed to be caught by the tail, Shut up, if you don't want to die immediately. Frieza is the emperor of the universe, how could he shut up just because of a word from Sapphire? Although he is now captured by Sapphire, he does not want to accept his fate. We have a common enemy. If we work together, we don't have to be afraid of that scion. Sapphire is an angel who survived from ancient times. He was awakened only tens of thousands of years ago because the scions were finally severely damaged. As a result, countless years have passed, and he is still only in the middle stage of true god. This was one of the reasons why Sapphire asked for permission to take his team to hunt Scions as soon as he heard that Scions had appeared on the battlefield of gods and demons. However, what Sapphire did not expect was that although the Scions were found, they were ridiculously strong. They were also in the middle stage of true god, and he, a true god who survived from ancient times, was beaten by the other side without being able to fight back. Hearing Frisia's words, Sapphire sneered, "Just you? I'm not looking down on you, that Scion is the strongest genius even in ancient times." Frisia could hear the fear in Sapphir's mouth, and he was not afraid to be embarrassed. "Oh, I know you have all lived for countless years, but you know that I am only 100 years old, and I have already reached the level of a true god." Sapphire was shocked and said, "What? Impossible. You must know that in ancient times, although the 7 ancient tribes dominated the heavens and had very powerful combat power from birth, there were very few who wanted to cultivate and become true gods, and many people would only destroy their peak strength in their lifetime. If the people of this frozen clan really reach the true god level in less than 100 years, then as long as they don't die, they will definitely have the hope of reaching the true god level in the future." Thinking of this, a murderous intent surged in Sapphire's heart. Although in ancient times, the Frozen Demon clan did not have too many conflicts with the Angel clan, and even once directly sided with the Angel clan, if a strong man with the limit of a true god appeared in the Frozen clan, that was not what the Angel clan wanted to see. Frisia suddenly felt a chill in his heart. "Oh no, he wants to kill me." But this chill came and went quickly. Sapphire said coldly, "You Frozen Demons have no credibility. Maybe if I let you go at this moment, you will betray me the next moment, right?" When Frisia heard what Sapphire said, he knew that the next part was the highlight. As expected, he saw the other party slow down and continued, "But you are right, but if I let you go, what benefit can I get?" Frisia smiled and said, "What benefit do you want?" Sapphire replied, "Sign a master-servant contract and become my warrior." When Frisia heard this, he was furious, but he said, "Impossible. I would rather die than be someone else's general. Change the conditions." Sapphire thought that Frisia would agree because he valued his life, but he didn't expect the other party to refuse directly. If he could accept a warrior who might grow to the limit of a true god in the future, it would be of great benefit to his future. However, the other party is already a true god. Unless the other party takes the initiative to sign, he has no way to force the other party to be his servant. Sapphire was about to say something when he suddenly felt that a group of people with the limit of destruction were approaching from thousands of kilometers away. He twisted Frisia and quickly chased after him, and soon appeared in front of the man. The god of destruction from the underworld. After Vegeta separated from Piccolo and Trunks, he searched for Gohan's trace in this mysterious space, but this space was too large and his perception was greatly weakened here. At this moment, a guy who looked like an angel suddenly appeared in front of him. "Vegeta, the god of destruction of Universe 7, who are you?" Frisia also discovered Vegeta at this time, but because Frisia's form had changed drastically, Vegeta did not recognize him for a while. However, Vegeta could feel a strong pressure from the 2 people in front of him. This was a dimensional oppression that Vegeta had only felt from true gods such as Whis. "You're the Scion who just became the god of destruction of Universe 7. Why are you here? Whis isn't with you." However, Frisia was surprised to find that the energy in Vegeta's body was the same as the destructive energy in his body. If he could take the destructive energy from Vegeta, he might be able to break free from the confinement instantly. What makes Frisia wonder is, isn't Beerus the god of destruction of Universe 7? When did Vegeta become the god of destruction? Although Vegeta knew that both of them could be true gods, his attitude made him very unhappy. "Who are you? You dare to stop me knowing that I am the god of destruction?" Sapphire laughed. "What's so great about the god of destruction? He's just a tool we angels use to balance the universe in the lower world. As for me, Sapphire of the Angel clan, boy, I don't like Scions very much now. Let me teach you a lesson." Vegeta suddenly felt a strong mental pressure falling on himself, and then a force came from Sapphire. He was instantly knocked hundreds of meters away, and a mouthful of blood flowed out of his mouth. "When dealing with true gods, you must have a fearful heart. This time, considering you are the god of destruction, I will not bother with you." Sapso's voice rang in Vegeta's mind, and he wanted to take Frisia away. After all, God knew when the other Scion would catch up. Frisia whispered, "Vegeta, give me your destructive energy and I will help you get rid of this angel. How about that?" Vegeta was very angry at the moment, but he knew that he could not be the opponent of the angel. At this moment, he heard Frisia's voice. At the beginning, he did not connect the monster next to the angel with Frisia. Now he found that the opponent was Frisia, and the anger in his heart was ignited. Although he was defeated by Sap Hill just now, the injury he suffered was not serious. At this moment, supported by anger, he suddenly exploded. Frieza, you are Frieza. The angry Vegeta didn't care about the difference in power between the two sides at this moment, and attacked Frieza with destructive energy without regard for his life. Safel didn't expect that Vegeta would suddenly go crazy, and it seemed that he had great hatred for the frozen demon in his hand, and he left Frieza in an instant. Frieza had already understood the law of destruction. Although Vegeta's attack seemed fierce, it had no effect on Frieza. Instead, it was directly absorbed into Frieza's body and used to recover from the injuries he suffered in the previous battle with Gohan. Safel had never expected that Frieza was deliberately luring Vegeta to take action. Frieza knew that with the hatred between him and Vegeta, Vegeta would definitely take action directly. Frieza continued to absorb the destructive energy from Vegeta and quickly refined it into his own energy. Vegeta also discovered Frieza's situation at this time. What, you can actually absorb my destructive energy, how is it possible? Frieza laughed, my dear Prince Vegeta, thank you very much for your gift. Then, before Sapphire could react, he suddenly broke free from his restraints and flew towards Chi Tian and the others at a very fast speed. Frieza was betting that Safel didn't have the courage to go back the same way. Sure enough, after discovering the direction Frieza fled, Safel did not chase after him. Vegeta saw that Frieza actually ran away, and subconsciously wanted to chase him, but at this time, Sap Hill went to stop Vegeta directly. God of Destruction, do you know that if it wasn't for you just now, the frozen demon named Frieza would not have been able to escape at all? If it weren't for Vegeta's destructive energy that helped Frieza quickly recover some of his strength, how could he have easily broken free from Sapsel's confinement? However, Vegeta had no idea that his current destructive energy was not only posing no threat to Frieza, but was instead Frieza's best tonic. After the ancient frozen demon died in battle, the source of destruction scattered. After the ancient angel king broke through to the true god, he collected the remaining destructive energy and handed it over to the current incarnation of the Omni King for management. Finally, in order to facilitate the supervision of the 12 universes, the high priests divided this destructive energy into 12 parts and gave them to the strongest people with the limit of destruction in the 12 universes, making them the gods of destruction. In a sense, the energy level of the gods of destruction in the 12 universes is even higher than Frieza's destructive energy. It's just that the god of destruction of Universe 12 has not fully comprehended the destructive energy, so his destructive energy is not as pure as Frieza's. Frieza has comprehended the law of destruction and achieved the status of a true god. He can be said to be the nemesis of all the gods of destruction in the 12 universes. If Frieza were allowed to obtain the destructive energy of the gods of destruction in the 12 universes and refine it, he might even be able to directly advance to the late stage of a true god. Safel had never expected that Frieza could escape his control because of a small god of destruction from the lower world. I really don't understand why the high priests would choose two scions to be gods of destruction. Thinking of this, Sapphire became furious, but with his identity, he was not qualified to talk to the high priest, unless the one from their lineage might be a possibility. Vegeta was speechless. Who would have thought that his attack would become the opponent's nourishment? What should we do now? Sap Hill said, this is none of my business. Leave it to the guardian angel of your universe. After saying that, Safel quickly left in the opposite direction, as if some big threat was about to come from behind. On the other side, Chi Tian did not go to chase Sapsel, but took Gohan directly into his inner world, while Piccolo returned to the previously agreed place to wait for Trunks and Vegeta. Although Chi Tian's inner world did not obtain the heart of the universe like Sun Tian and thus evolve into a cosmic form, it is also quite large. Especially in recent years, after his cultivation level broke through again, Chi Tian's inner world changed again and has become nearly the size of several original solar galaxies. Wu Tian saw Chi Tian coming back, and hurried forward. Seeing the injured Gohan who had fallen into a deep sleep, he asked, brother, who is he? Son Gohan, another Super Saiyan from the mirror time and space. Now, Gohan's broken arm is still being attacked by Frieza's law of destruction, which prevents it from growing back. Chi Tian stretched out his hand, and the law of destruction was directly eliminated. He then told Goten to take good care of Gohan and left the inner world. 2 days later, son Gohan woke up from his deep sleep. Where am I? Goten stepped forward. Brother Gohan, are you awake? Son Gohan was stunned. Goten, aren't you dead? Wu Tian was stunned. Who is it? What do you mean dead? I'm not dead. Son Gohan slowly remembered that after he was imprisoned by Sap Hill, he was saved by another mirror version of himself. He thought that the man who looked like Goten in front of him should be the Goten from another mirror version of himself. I'm sorry, maybe I made a mistake. By the way, is your name Goten? Sun Wutian replied, yes, by the way, this is what my brother asked me to give you. He said that when you wake up, using this will help you recover faster. Hey, what is this? Such pure energy. Angel's heart, the energy core of the angel race, yours was left by my brother when he killed a true god-level angel on the battlefield of gods and demons. What? Kill a true god-level angel? Even though Son Gohan has now reached Super Saiyan 5, he knows how difficult it is to kill a true god. And from this angel's heart, Son Gohan can feel that this is definitely a true god who is more than twice as strong as himself. Nothing. My brother is very strong. Even though he is only in the middle stage of true god, even those in the late stage of true god may not be my brother's opponent. You should recover first. If you have any questions, just ask my brother directly. Son Gohan didn't hesitate either. He held the angel's heart in one hand, guided the energy inside, and began to repair his body. The broken left arm, without the restraint of the law of destruction, soon began to sprout tissue, and before long, a brand new arm grew out. Son Gohan had been fighting with Frieza for nearly half a year, and all the energy in his body was long gone. With this angel's heart, Son Gohan's strength recovered rapidly. A day later, a powerful aura emanated from Son Gohan, directly causing Chi Tian's inner world to shake continuously. Recovered, completely recovered. At this time, Goten appeared again, so strong, brother Gohan, this form of yours is Super Saiyan 5, right? Gohan replied, yes, it is Super Saiyan 5. By the way, Goten, how do we get out? Wu Tian replied, wait, my brother should know. We are now in my brother's inner world. Without him leading the way, we can't get out. Soon, Chi Tian appeared in the inner world, along with Piccolo and Trunks. Piccolo saw Gohan and hurried forward, Gohan, are you fully recovered? Yes, Uncle Piccolo, I have fully recovered. By the way, where is Frieza? Piccolo said, I don't know. He was taken away by that angel. We have been looking for him these past few days, but there is no trace of him. Chi Tian stepped forward at this time, not bad, you didn't embarrass me. By the way, my name is Chi Tian, I have seen you before. Gohan sensed an aura from Saitama that was far superior to his own and knew that the other party's strength far exceeded his own. Thanks. Afterwards, Chi Tian took a few people out and returned to the outside world again. This space has always existed. Although it was manifested because of the battle between Son Gohan and Frieza, even the two of them did not know how big the mysterious space is. They only knew that after the two of them burst out with their full true god-level strength, this space could easily withstand the impact of their battle. Here, even Chi Tian, who was in the middle stage of true god and whose spiritual awareness far exceeded that of the middle stage of true god, could only sense tens of thousands of kilometers. The entire space was even more stable than the battlefield of gods and demons. After Piccolo reunited with Trunks, he went straight back to the agreed location and reunited with Saitian. This was mainly because of their current strength. If they encountered the angel Sapsol alone, they would definitely not be able to resist at all. In 3 days, Chi Tian and his team did not find any trace of Sapsol, not even any trace of Vegeta. However, with Gohan's recovery, they can now split into 2 groups, hoping to find Vegeta as soon as possible, otherwise it would be dangerous if they were encountered by Sapsol. Trunks was in a group with Sai-Ten, while Piccolo was in a group with Gohan. They agreed to meet at the agreed place every once in a while, and then began to explore this space. On the one hand, they wanted to find Vegeta as soon as possible, and on the other hand, they also wanted to find the Angel and Frieza. Gohan, who has recovered his strength, is no weaker than Sapsol, so Chi Tian is relieved. Vegeta was very depressed. Frieza, the enemy who killed his father, wife, and son and destroyed his Saiyan home planet, was right in front of him, but he could not kill him personally. Instead, he let the enemy escape with the help of his destructive energy. As for Sapsol's ridicule, Vegeta did not take it to heart. After seeing Sapsol leave, Vegeta searched alone in this mysterious space. I don't know if Piccolo and the others have found Gohan, but judging from Frieza's expression, Gohan should be fine. Vegeta kept flying in this space, but this space was too big. Even with Vegeta's strength to destroy the limit, after several days, he had not yet reached the end. It was unknown how much time had passed, but Vegeta sensed a bloodline calling him from afar, and he followed the sensation and flew away at high speed. Soon, a picture appeared in Vegeta's vision. In an ice peak that was tens of thousands of feet high, a giant ape nearly 10,000 meters tall was sealed inside. The giant ape's fur was golden, and its fangs were exposed, emitting a cold light. Each fang was hundreds of meters long. The giant ape's muscles were swollen, exuding an astonishing momentum, and its eyes were defiant and looked down on the world. The ice peak exuded a terrifying chill. Even though Vegeta had reached the limit of destruction, he had to circulate air throughout his body to resist the biting cold. Vegeta felt a common bloodline from the giant ape, but the bloodline was much stronger than his. Even the scion named Kale from the 6th universe whom he had met before, his bloodline was far inferior to that of the giant ape in front of him. Even though the giant ape was frozen and did not move, Vegeta actually felt so weak in front of it, as if the giant ape in front of him could easily kill him with just one finger if it wanted to. Even someone as proud as Vegeta had to admit that if the giant ape in front of him were still alive, he would be able to crush him easily. Even the angel named Sapphire whom he met before was just a slightly stronger ant compared to this giant ape. Vegeta thought to himself, could this be the ancestor of our scion race, the ancient golden giant ape? At this moment, the golden giant ape suddenly burst out with an astonishing momentum, and the 1,000-foot ice peak began to shake violently. The sudden change left Vegeta at a loss, and then a deep voice suddenly appeared in Vegeta's mind. I didn't expect that this space-time prison would be connected to the outside world again. Junior, are you the one who woke me up? Vegeta looked around, who is it? Young man, there's no need to look for it. This is just a message from my mind communicating with you. My real body is right in front of you. Vegeta couldn't help but look at the frozen golden giant ape in front of him. Who are you? And what is the space-time prison? Boy, you are a scion, right? I can feel my blood in you, even though it is very rare. Vegeta replied, who exactly is Senpai? I am indeed a scion. I wonder what your purpose is in finding me. The voice did not reply to Vegeta, but Vegeta suddenly felt as if something was peeping into his soul. I see, the angels still like to do these useless things. Boy, do you want to get rid of the control of the angels and take back your pride? Vegeta was shocked, you looked through my memories. How is that possible? Nothing is impossible. I am one of the ancestors of you scions. Don't worry, I have no ill will towards you. I just didn't expect that the scions have fallen to such a state now. Vegeta also felt ashamed. As far as he knew, there were probably no more than 20 scions left. Originator, can you help me get rid of the control of the angels? What is your purpose? I just like you. Although your blood is very thin, it is still good. You should be able to withstand the energy of one drop of my blood. Are you ready? Vegeta replied, if it can help me get rid of the angels' control, no matter what the purpose is, it doesn't matter. A drop of golden blood slowly emerged from the body of the frozen golden giant ape. As soon as this drop of blood left the body, the golden giant ape's momentum obviously decreased a lot. By absorbing it, your blood will be sublimated, and the destructive energy in your body will naturally be expelled. Vegeta had no hesitation at all, and he didn't know whether it was because of their common blood or for other reasons. Vegeta opened his mouth and swallowed the drop of blood directly into his stomach. As the blood entered his body, Vegeta felt his blood boiling and bursting out with unprecedented power. The destructive energy in his body was like a mouse seeing a cat, quickly avoiding it. After a while, all the energy was driven out of his body. A lot of information suddenly appeared in Vegeta's mind, including information about the scions and other races from ancient times. Roar! With a beast roar, Vegeta's body emanated a terrifying aura. The tail that had disappeared regenerated at some point, and then Vegeta's body began to change uncontrollably. Without the help of the burst ray, Vegeta's body actually began to transform into a giant ape. A few minutes later, a nearly 2,000-meter tall golden giant ape with golden leather hands appeared in the same place. What? This power is more than 100 times stronger than the previous transformations. The giant ape kept beating his chest with his hands and firing energy balls into the distance from his mouth. Boom! Huge deep pits appeared from time to time in the distance. Vegeta vented his energy for a long time before he could barely control the power. At this time, the voice in my mind sounded again, not bad, better than I thought. Vegeta replied, thank you, Originator, but does that mean I can only act as a golden giant ape from now on? Why, this form is not good. This is much more domineering than that guy Yamoshi's human form. Vegeta was speechless. It seemed that the ancestor seemed to prefer the giant ape form, but he couldn't imagine what it would be like if he lived in this form in the future. Ancestor, is there no way to restore the human form? Yes, but this requires you to be familiar with this power. You can't do it now. Vegeta's face turned green. Although he could feel that this form was very strong and he was confident that he could fight against Whis who was at the true god level, he really couldn't get used to it. Seeing that Vegeta was still struggling, the frozen golden giant ape continued, in ancient times, how many scions wanted to transform into this form but couldn't do it, and you actually despise it. Vegeta wanted to say something, but the next moment, an irresistible force came, and when Vegeta came to his senses again, he was already tens of thousands of miles away. At the same time, where the golden giant ape was frozen, the body of the frozen golden giant ape slowly dissipated, and the ice peak also gradually disappeared, as if it had never appeared. Vegeta originally wanted to go back and ask again, but the blood connection had disappeared. For some reason, Vegeta felt sad. Vegeta, who has transformed into a giant ape, already possesses the combat power of a true god. However, Vegeta knows that his combat power has only reached the level of a true god. If he wants to fully master this power, he may have to raise his life power to the level of a true god. Vegeta calmed his mind. A lot of things had happened in the past 6 months, and many of them seemed inconceivable. He randomly found a valley and began to organize the information he had obtained from the drop of blood. Time and Space Prison, the name of this space, has existed since the ancient times. A large number of powerful people from the ancient times to the modern times are imprisoned here. Once imprisoned here, even if you are a peak true god, you can never escape from here. According to the information, those imprisoned here are not just the Scions, Namekians, the Ice Demons, the Angels, the Kaishin, but even the ancient humans who were formed before the ancient times. In order to open the space-time prison, one must master the space-time energy at the same time. However, mastering the space-time energy is not enough. One must at least reach the peak strength of a true god to be able to sense the existence of the space-time prison. However, nothing is absolute. From the information we have obtained, it seems that in the ancient times, a super genius appeared in the ancient Kaishin clan who mastered the power of time and space at the same time. Later, after reaching the limit of a true god, he separated from the ancient Kaishin clan to form the Time Kaishin clan. This person was none other than Zio. Zio is very powerful. It is said that the ancient Angel King and the ancient Realm King are very afraid of him. His time and space abilities are unpredictable. After discovering the time and space prison, Zio created the Order of Time that can connect to the time and space prison at any time. In this way, even a strong man of the destruction level, as long as he possesses the space-time energy and uses the space-time energy to activate the Order of Time, can also connect to the time and space prison at any time and directly imprison some people in the universe that he dislikes. However, there are very few kings of time. Even among the king of gods, there may not be one among millions of people. But once they appear, they will definitely be taken away by the king of time and trained well. Their status is far above that of ordinary kings of time. Even when they hold the Order of Time, the angels have to show them respect. In addition to training the Time King from the Kai clan, the Time King will also look for extremely talented people from other races to train. After they reach a certain level of strength, they will be granted the Order of Time, which allows them to travel in any universe and capture and suppress those who destroy the balance of the universe. This group of people is called the Space-Time Patrol. The King of Time supervises the lower world, and once he finds anyone destroying the balance of the universe or disrupting time and space, he will send time and space patrols to arrest and detain them. Zio is independent of the gods, and even the Omni King is helpless against him. Even if some angels make mistakes, Zio will directly arrest and imprison them. In the ancient war, countless people were imprisoned in the space-time prison, but many of them had already died due to the lack of energy replenishment in the space-time prison. Those who can survive to the present are either some peak true gods or some special lives. Not good. If that's the case, I'm afraid that time and space channel won't last long. We have to find Gohan and the others as soon as possible and leave here. Vegeta's huge body stood up and quickly gathered at the previously agreed position. After Frieza got rid of Sapsel, he changed direction. Frieza knew that the Scion over there was so powerful that even Sapsel, who was in the middle stage of true god, didn't dare to fight him directly. If he rushed up directly, he would definitely not be his opponent. A few days later, Frieza discovered Vegeta's whereabouts and wanted to go directly to kill him, but suddenly a force came, making Frieza dare not take a step forward, as if there was an abyss in front of him. Vegeta seemed to be fine and finally disappeared from Frieza's range of consciousness. Not long after, a violent aura came from the direction where Vegeta disappeared. Frieza immediately knew that the aura was the unique aura of the Scions, and it was the aura after they transformed into a giant ape. Frieza carefully moved towards the direction of the breath, but not long after, the breath disappeared. When Frieza arrived, he only saw a severely damaged ground. At the same time, he also found the broken destructive source energy that was expelled from Vegeta's body. Frisia instinctively felt that as long as he absorbed this energy, his injuries would soon be fully recovered. Without any hesitation, Frisia directly absorbed the broken source of destruction into his body. Such pure destructive energy, more than 100 times stronger than the energy used by Vegeta in his previous attack. Frisia felt that the thirsty energy in his body was recovering rapidly, and a feeling of sleepiness suddenly enveloped Frisia's heart. Frisia suppressed his sleepiness, quickly found a quiet space, and then fell asleep. Rays of energy emanated from Frisia's body, and soon formed a cocoon of light that completely enveloped Frisia, then sank into the ground. When Frisia woke up again, 2 days had passed. The light cocoon that wrapped Frisia dissipated, and the injuries on Frisia's body had completely recovered. The broken tail and lost devil wings had been completely repaired. However, what made King Frisia depressed was that the 4 sharp horns on his head had not recovered. However, Frisia could feel that his current strength was much stronger than when he had just broken through to the 7th level. He was probably already very close to the middle stage of True God. Damned Saiyan, Son Gohan, I hope we can meet soon. And Sap Hill, you dare to imprison me, don't let me meet you. Frisia's strength increased greatly, and he flew through the space-time channel he traveled through based on his memory. Somewhere in the space-time prison, Whis, Bardoss, and Sun Wukong have been here for a long time, but apart from the desolation, there seems to be nothing worth noting here. Mr. Weiss, what exactly is this place? Weiss frowned. It had been a long time since he came here, but even he didn't know where this place was. Sister, what do you think? Bardoss said, if I'm not mistaken, this should be the legendary time and space prison. No way, a time and space prison. If that's the case, we have to leave quickly. You know, there are many enemies of the angels imprisoned in the space-time prison. Even if they are 2 late-stage true gods, they are not strong enough to be here. And if it is really a space-time prison, the space-time passage outside will probably be closed soon. If they don't leave in time, even they will probably be trapped to death here. Sun Wukong asked, time and space prison, what is that? Weiss explained, the space-time prison is a special entity that has existed since ancient times. It is said to be a place used by ancient tribes to imprison criminals. Aren't there many powerful people here? Weiss thought that Sun Wukong's bellicosity was back. Wukong, you are now the god of destruction, but even the god of destruction is like an ant in front of some unknown existence. You should know that those who can enter the space-time prison are at least strong enough to be gods of destruction. Deep inside the space-time prison, Broly had been in this space for a long time, but soon after entering this space, he discovered the fleeing Sap Hill. Sapsol also discovered Broly. After running away for a while, Sapsol naturally didn't think that the Saiyan who frightened him would catch up with him. Broly has grass-green hair. As Sapshiel, who has been dealing with Saiyans since ancient times, naturally knows that the other party's bloodline was extremely powerful even in ancient times, but he does not think that the other party can possess the strength of a true god. Safel was first scared away by Chi Tian, and then he finally captured Frisia and Son Gohan, but the two escaped again. However, Vegeta was the god of destruction of the lower world bestowed by the Omni King, so he could not move. After seeing Broly, he naturally prepared to vent all his recent troubles on Broly. Broly has a deep hatred for the angels. Naturally, he would not give a good face after seeing Sapsol. After a brief verbal exchange, the two of them went straight into a fight. As soon as they started fighting, Sapsol regretted it. Damn it, how do the angels in the lower world supervise the lower universe? Why are there true god-level Saiyans? Up to now, including Frisia and Son Gohan, Sapsol has encountered 3 true god-level strongmen. Broly exuded a dark green aura, and his entire body was filled with explosive energy. I have never killed the true god of the angels. You will be the first angel I kill. Safel felt that he could still suppress Broly at the beginning, but when Broly got serious, he was no match for Broly at all. Damn it, what on earth is going on with this space? How can there be such a space in the underworld? Safel embarked on an escape journey again, but unlike the last time, Broly was holding him back. Don't run. Broly waved his hand, and thousands of Qigong bombs flew directly over Sap Hill. Damn it, Saiyan, don't take it too far. Sapsol released a life shield to block Broly's energy bullet, but its speed was also reduced. Boom! Broly delivered a powerful punch, and the violent force knocked Sapsol back several thousand meters. The terrible shock wave continued to spread in all directions, and the barren mountains turned into dust. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Sapshir quickly mobilized his divine power to repair his injuries, and at the same time quickly fled deeper into the depths. The speed of both of them has been increased to the extreme. In just a breath, they can cover thousands of meters. Broly didn't expect that an angel of the true god didn't even have the courage to fight him, but even so, Broly didn't intend to let the other party go. Roar! Broly was so arrogant that he seemed to be wrapped in a ball of burning flames. He cut through the space and chased after Sapsol directly. Saphill felt Broly getting closer. Damn, he's so fast. Getting closer. Broly suddenly increased his speed again, and then blocked Sapsol directly in front of him, with a highly compressed energy ball gathered in his hand. Ha ha ha. Angels, stop struggling. You can't escape. Sapsol was being chased and was really angry. Scion, do you really think you can kill me? Saphill had already transformed into his true form as an angel. Astonishing energy emanated from his pair of angel wings, and the entire space was shaking. Broly's energy ball was pushed directly towards Sapsol. Take my hit. The energy ball was only the size of a fist, but after being pushed out, it quickly grew larger. After a while, a huge energy ball with a diameter of several thousand meters appeared in Sapshire's field of vision. Sapsol's hands also gathered a beam of incandescent energy, and he attacked almost at the same time as Broly. Come on, Scions, let's see how much of their former glory the Scions still have after the ancient times. The two energy conductors collided with each other in the air, and the space was constantly broken and then repaired, emitting a terrifying thunder, and the shock wave spread out again in ripples visible to the naked eye. Broly laughed crazily. Good, finally some fighting spirit. With a roar, Broly began to take it seriously. He was originally fighting against Sapsol with one hand, but at this moment, his other hand also began to gather energy. Go ahead. As Broly's energy poured in again, the balance was gradually broken, and the energy wave began to tilt towards Sapshire. Saphill also knew that if he couldn't resist this wave, he would probably be defeated. Scion, the loser of ancient times, die. The two energies were balanced again in the center. The surrounding space could no longer withstand the impact of this powerful energy and continued to break apart. In the void, colorful lightning with a diameter of several meters fell from time to time, and the aura continued to transmit to the distance. Deep in the space-time prison, ancient and rugged mountains tens of thousands of meters high can be seen everywhere. The aftermath of the battle between Broly and Sapshire was transmitted. In the originally quiet space, the sound of cracking mountains was heard, and then a breath began to slowly become stronger. How long have you been sleeping? Who is fighting? Damn the angels, they actually banished this demon god here. Old ghost, I didn't expect you to be locked up too. Let's fight for another 300 rounds. What a familiar scent, is this a Scion? Ha 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 ha, revenge. Damn Scions. The terrifying auras awakened from their slumber. There were angels, demons, Namekians, Scions, Kaioshin, frozen demons, death gods, innate gods and demons, and some completely unknown races. Each of them exuded a powerful aura. At least they were all strong people who could destroy the limit, and 8 or 9 of them had reached the peak of the true god. Suddenly, one of the strong people at the peak of the true god flew away, and the direction of the flight was the spacetime channel of the Milky Way star region. Ha 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 ha, the spacetime channel, I can finally leave this space. Afterwards, several other powerful true gods also discovered the existence of the spacetime channel and quickly took off and flew away at high speed. The rest of the people also seemed to have discovered the problem and began to fly in an outward direction. Hundreds and tens of millions of powerful beings who have reached the limit of destruction are like locusts, covering the sky and the earth, emitting a terrifying aura, and moving in one direction. Weiss and his companions who were flying towards the spacetime channel suddenly discovered a depressing aura emanating from the entire space, and then they discovered a terrifying divine power coming. Oh no! It's a true god-level warrior. Damn it! Who on earth was fighting just now to awaken those people in the depths? Let's go! At the same time, Sun Chitian and Sun Gohan also felt the changes in the entire mysterious space. Oh no, this aura is from the peak of the true god. Frieza who was flying and the golden giant ape Vegeta who was flying towards the spacetime channel both smelled a strong sense of crisis in the air. What the hell happened? Although Frieza has recovered his strength, he finds that there are at least hundreds of auras above him from the depths of the mysterious space. Suddenly, Frieza saw in the distance, a huge golden giant ape also rushing towards the spacetime channel. The other party had obviously noticed his presence. Suddenly, the golden giant ape turned around and flew towards Frieza. Frieza, I'm going to die. Frieza was startled, and suddenly thought of a possibility. It's you, Vegeta. Frieza didn't expect that Vegeta would actually transform into a golden giant ape nearly 2,000 meters tall, and his strength increased dramatically, not much weaker than the big one. Whis and Bardos took Sun Wukong and quickly flew towards the entrance of the space-time passage they came in from, and soon rushed out along the space-time passage. Weiss, destroy this space-time channel, otherwise the people imprisoned in the space-time prison will come out and completely destroy the balance of the entire 12 universes. Without Bardos' reminder, Vest knew what to do. Vest directly mobilized the laws, and the space-time channel with a radius of hundreds of kilometers quickly shrank. After a while, the space-time channel connecting one of the galaxies was left with only small entrances of less than a few hundred meters. Suddenly, an extremely strong energy came from inside. Weiss-Zhang spat out a mouthful of blood. At the entrance of the space-time channel, a monster exuding a terrifying aura slowly appeared. The monster was nearly 100 meters tall, with a pair of devil horns growing from its forehead. It exuded an aura of destruction, its body was covered with a thick layer of scales, and it had a 20-meter-long tail that swayed irregularly. Angels, Scions. The monster saw Whis, who was trying to close the space-time channel, as well as Bardos and Sun Wukong further away, and asked hoarsely, not knowing if it was because he hadn't spoken for a long time. Just now he felt that the space-time channel was closing. With the cultivation level of a peak true god, he directly sent out a destructive energy wave, which directly injured Weiss. When Sun Wukong was stared at by this monster, it seemed as if his entire soul was about to be lost, but the next moment, this power seemed to activate Sun Wukong's blood, and a powerful energy came from his blood, directly pulling Sun Wukong back to reality. But Sun Wukong was also sweating, so strong. Stronger than Whis and Bardos. Weiss also showed a rare solemn expression, "Who are you?" The monster slowly adapted to the situation, "Angel Clan, now is not the time to fight with you, go away." The sound of "roll" was like a soul-stirring sound, emitting infinite energy and directly blowing the three people away tens of thousands meters. The power of the peak true god was revealed without a condensation, the monster was seen standing tall, and the space-time passage that was about to close was easily supported by it and could no longer be closed at all. After a while, powerful auras came from deep within the passage. "Ha ha ha, we're finally out. Goodbye, damn time and space prison. Your Majesty, great demon god Hun Tian, what should we do next?" The monster said, "Let's find a place to hide first." After nearly half an hour, nearly 100,000 strong men came out of the channel. Then the great demon god Hun Tian withdrew his power, and the space-time channel slowly closed. "Hun Tian, you idiot, you actually want to trap us in here." There were roars coming from deep in the passage, and it was obvious that strong men from another force had also rushed over. The great demon god Hun Tian was not angry, "Ha ha ha ha, kid from the Frozen clan, just continue to stay in the time and space prison." A huge super Qigong bomb rushed into the space-time channel directly. Without the support of the great demon god Hun Tian, the space-time channel was slowly and permanently closed under the repair of the laws of the universe. In the distance, Whis and the other two had already fallen into panic, especially Sun Wukong, who finally reached the limit of destruction, but found that the weakest of the 100,000 people in front of him were all strong people who had reached the limit of destruction. The world has changed. The great demon god Hun Tian, could it be that he is the innate god and demon from the ancient times? Sun Wukong knew nothing about what happened before the ancient times. He could only listen to the conversation between Whis and Bardos, completely in shock. Weiss and Bardos were the same, this is really a big deal, why did a passage leading to the space-time prison appear? At this time, the subordinates of the great demon god Hun Tian also discovered the three people tens of thousands of meters away. They saw a man in the middle stage of true god walked up to the great demon god Hun Tian and asked, "Your Majesty, how do we deal with the two angels and the Scion?" The great demon god Hun Tian waved his hand and said, "It is not appropriate to cause trouble now. Spread out and find out the current situation." "Yes." Afterwards, a group of strong men quickly used their own methods and left the place quickly, leaving only the stunned Weiss and the other two. "Whis, I'm going to take Goku back to Universe 6 first. You go to the Omni Palace now and report what happened." In the space-time prison, Vegeta in the form of a golden giant ape was chasing Frieza towards another space-time passage. The two of them fought while flying, leaving behind huge pits that were so deep that the ground could not be seen. Roar! When Vegeta saw that Frieza did not fight him head-on, he roared, and the sound of the giant ape's roar could be heard for thousands of kilometers. "Frieza, don't run." Then, a wave of destructive energy came out of the giant ape's mouth and attacked Frieza directly. Unfortunately, the giant ape was too big. Although it was still very fast, Frieza was much more flexible in comparison and dodged it easily. Frieza was also annoyed. At first he thought that the golden ape was so big that it was just a moving target, but when they started fighting he realized that its defense was so strong that it could ignore his ordinary attacks. The destructive energy that hit the golden ape only destroyed some of its fur. Damn it, Vegeta, how come he suddenly became so strong? Fortunately, Vegeta was much slower than him, otherwise, if he was caught by the giant ape, with his true god-level strength, he would probably be skinned alive if he didn't die. Soon, the two came to another space-time channel. Frieza did not entangle with Vegeta, but directly forced him back with several consecutive huge destructive energy waves, and then entered the space-time channel. The golden giant ape naturally followed closely behind, fighting in the space-time channel while heading towards the outside world. Broly and Safel probably didn't expect that the aftermath of their battle would directly awaken a group of monsters deep in the space-time prison. When these monsters appeared in front of them, even Broly, with his violent personality, was really frightened. Fortunately, Broly was strong enough. After killing dozens of extreme destruction warriors in a row, the group of monsters realized that they had encountered a tough situation and took the initiative to flee outside. But Safel was not so lucky. First, he lost to Broly in a fight and was seriously injured. Then, this group of monsters appeared where the two were fighting. Before Safel could react, he was seriously injured again by a monster in the early stage of True God. After Broly finally repelled this monster, he was besieged by dozens of destruction-level monsters. Fortunately, he himself was a strong man in the middle stage of True God, so his life was not in danger. However, Sapsel's luck was not bad. Just as Broly repelled the demons, a True God-level angel flew out from the depths. It happened that this angel knew Sapsel and rescued him. It was only then that Saphill realized that this was actually a space-time prison. Broly also discovered that something was wrong, because this group of strong men were all heading towards the space-time channel. After capturing several strong men and questioning them, he also found out the reason. Broly also followed this group of strong men and quickly set off towards the space-time channel, but during the journey they encountered many angels with the limit of destruction, which were all easily solved by Broly. Dozens of days later, a large group of super powerful people poured into various universes, many planets were destroyed, and some powerful civilizations had no ability to resist this group of people. At the same time, the gods in each universe also suffered devastating blows. Many Kais were killed directly, and the god of destruction was in name only. The sudden opening of the space-time prison was unexpected by everyone. Maybe some people expected it, but no one stopped it. Half a year ago, the high priest was held back by a god and couldn't leave. The king of all kings even left the palace of all kings and went to an unknown place. The king of Yama of the Samsara realm, the dragon god Salama, the fighting angel of the true god realm, the holy demon king of the true demon realm. All the true gods seem to have agreed on their limits and disappeared half a year ago. In the destruction god realm of the 7th universe, Whis is being besieged by 4 mysterious men, and King Kai Shin has already been killed. Fortunately, Vegeta has used a drop of ancient golden giant ape's blood in the space-time prison to break free from the life bond with King Kai, otherwise Vegeta would probably have died with the death of King Kai. Whis was facing the siege of 4 true god-level powerhouses alone. Fortunately, only one of these 4 true gods had reached the middle stage of True God, and the other 3 were only in the early stage of True God, otherwise Whis would have failed long ago. Frozen demons, now that you have escaped from the space-time prison, why don't you hide well? Aren't you afraid that Zio will put you back in the space-time prison again? Whis didn't show any signs of defeat yet. He used Ultra Instinct to easily dodge the attacks of the 4 Ice Clan members with his entire body, and was able to counterattack from time to time. The frozen demon in the middle stage of True God said sternly, Angel Clan, the 6th and 7th universes are originally the territory of our frozen clan. You have crossed the line. All 4 of them were figures from ancient times. They were imprisoned in the time and space prison before the ancient war of gods broke out. They did not expect to be released now and find that there was no frozen demon in the 6th and 7th universes controlled by their frozen clan. The 4 of them went straight into the realm of gods. King God Shin was only in the middle stage of destruction, so he was easily killed. But when they entered the realm of the god of destruction, they encountered the angels, one of the 7 ancient tribes. Whis easily dodged the attacks of the 4 men. Times are different now. Your era has passed. Now is the era of the Omni King. Stop talking nonsense. Now that we are back, we must take back the universe that belongs to us. Angels, are you going to leave on your own or be driven away by us? Whis chuckled, you guys, are you just a group of frozen people who are only at the middle stage of True God? You have to know that Whis, an angel of the new generation, is also in the late stage of True God. Although these 4 angels are strong, they are no match for him. How dare they want to rule the 7th universe again? Weiss was about to say something when suddenly a voice came from the sky not far away, an angel from the late true god period. Not bad. You should be an angel of the new generation, right? Go back and tell the high priest that the 7th universe will return to my frozen clan in the future. Weiss was shocked. It had been at least half an hour since he had just fought with the 4 people, but Weiss hadn't noticed that there was another frozen demon in the sky. Boom! A destructive energy wave was launched from the hands of the figure in the sky. Weiss's body was completely unable to react, and his entire right arm was directly destroyed. Weiss was instantly severely injured. The figure fell from the sky, and his cold eyes made Weiss feel like he had fallen into an ice cellar. The 4 men who had come before half knelt on the ground. Lord Annette, we are incompetent. The image of a human figure slowly emerged, nearly 18 meters tall. Unlike Frisia's 7th level transformation, the whole person looked more noble. He had 9 sharp horns on his head, his entire body was crisscrossed with purple and blue lines, and was covered with a layer of hard bone armor. He had a tail that was nearly 8 meters long and moved without wind. Weiss was shocked. 9th level frozen demon, the ultimate true god. How is it possible? How could a true god appear in the spacetime prison? Shouldn't the ultimate true god be able to break through the spacetime prison and escape? Annette was a super genius of the ancient ice clan. However, because he was not loved by the ancient ice demon king, he was afraid that Annette would affect his rule, so he exiled him to the time and space prison when he was at the peak of his true god status. It was also because of this that he escaped the ancient war. In the spacetime prison, he and 8 other powerful true gods were the undisputed kings. This time the spacetime prison was connected by a spacetime channel, so he rushed out with his army as soon as possible, but he took the spacetime channel of the Trunks Galaxy Star region. Not long after coming out, he broke through again and reached the 9th level of transformation in one fell swoop, becoming an existence at the limit of a true god. After his subordinates found out about the situation in the 7th universe, he immediately sent people to the god realm to kill King God, who was completely unaware of the situation. Later, he sent 4 true god-level subordinates to prepare to destroy the god realm in one fell swoop. However, he did not expect that the angel who destroyed the god realm was actually a powerful being in the late stage of true god, and had comprehended the ultra instinct. He had no choice but to do it himself. When the true god at the ultimate level faced the true god in the late stage, he severely injured Weiss with just one move. If he didn't want to fight against the true god at the ultimate level of the angel clan, it would probably not be as simple as severely injuring Weiss. Go away. Before I change my mind. Weiss was unwilling, but facing a strong man of the high priest's level, no matter how unwilling he was, he could only bury it in his heart. Then he opened the passage to the true god realm and returned to the true god realm. Not only the 7th universe, but other universes had their realms breached by a group of powerful beings who came out of nowhere. The king of gods died, the god of destruction also died, and even some angels died in the battle. In the 6th universe, Bardos was also facing a crisis. Several true god-level scions directly attacked the King Kai's world, and King Kai Fuwa was killed in one move. Son Goku was lucky because Sun Tian had made a wish with the Super Dragon Ball a few years ago, which forever released the life bond between the god of destruction of the 6th universe and King Kai, so that Son Goku did not die because of Fuwa's death. There were 7 scions who attacked the 6th universe. One of them also broke through to the limit of true god after leaving the spacetime prison. There were 6 others, 1 in the late true god stage, 2 in the middle true god stage, and 3 in the early true god stage. When several people arrived at the destruction god realm, they directly expelled Bardos, and because Sun Wukong was also a scion, he was forced to become a member of their team. In other universes, except for the 1st, 4th and 11th universes, the divine realms were all occupied by people who came out of the spacetime prison. In the 12th universe, even the angels were killed by an innate god or demon. The 9 universes were occupied by 9 powerful true gods who led tens of thousands of destructive-level warriors. The gods returned to their positions, but the angels did not express any opinions, as if they had tacitly acknowledged their existence. In the square of the royal palace, all the angels gathered. Unlike the calmness in the past, this time, each angel had a sad look on their face. But at this time, neither the high priest nor the king of all were here. Weiss, you can't contact the high priest either. The one who spoke was Sava, the angel from the 2nd universe. Sava, who was originally destroying the world of gods, did not expect that the god of destruction he served would die suddenly. When he reacted, an ancient innate god and demon of the true god level had already killed him. Fortunately, the two were not much different in strength. Seeing that he was no match for the other, Sava took the initiative to flee back to the royal palace. The injuries that Whis had sustained in the battle with the Ice Clan had long since recovered. He was also surprised to see the 8 guardian angels from the lower world gathered here. When had the angels ever suffered such a great humiliation? Of the 12 universes in the lower world, only 3 were still under the control of the angels. Half a year ago, when problems arose in the 7th universe, we tried to contact the High Priest, but there was no news from him. Our top priority is to protect the remaining 3 universes. The angel Campelli from the original 3rd universe said, I never thought that there would be a spacetime channel directly connected to the spacetime prison. Those imprisoned in there are all tough guys. Bardas replied, if we had known earlier that the spacetime channel was connected to the spacetime prison, we would have destroyed it immediately. It's useless to talk about this now. Why don't you tell us how to distribute it next? Weiss said, now we only have the 1st universe, the 4th universe, and the 11th universe. My idea is that the 8 of us angels should go separately to prevent the remaining 3 universes from being occupied by people who came out of the spacetime prison. The angels discussed, and finally Whis and Bardas went to the 4th universe, Sava, Cocatel, and Colin went to the 1st universe, and the rest except Cuss went to the 11th universe. Because Cuss was the youngest, she stayed in the palace waiting for the return of the High Priest. The divine world of the 6th universe has now been completely controlled by the Scions. Sun Wukong suddenly discovered that there are so many Scions in this world. Athanasius is the 3rd son of the ancient golden giant ape. He originally possessed extraordinary talent and had reached the peak of true god less than 10,000 years after his birth. However, because his talent was too strong, he was plotted against by the Ice Clan during a trip to the 6th universe, and was eventually imprisoned in a time and space prison by the Ice Clan's ultimate true god. This time after coming out of the spacetime prison, the first thing Athanasius thought of was to come to the 6th universe for revenge. However, he never expected that there was no trace of the Ice Clan in the 6th universe. In the spacetime prison, the Scions who were imprisoned later were mainly Athanasius. After all, Athanasius could be regarded as the true ancestor of the Scions. The ancient golden giant ape had 3 sons. The eldest son Yamoshi, the second son Nashia, and the third son Aphanasy were all extremely talented. Among them, Yamoshi created his own Ultra Instinct, and he himself was a super master at the level of true god. Later, almost all Scions were descendants of Yamoshi. The second son, Nashia, is different from the other 2. He has long existed in the form of a golden giant ape. He is also a true god of ultimate strength and more violent than Yamoshi. In an ancient battle, he once killed an angel of the true god of ultimate strength, but then disappeared without a trace. Aphanasy was unable to participate in the ancient war because he was plotted against by the Ice Clan. Otherwise, the Scions would probably have had one more powerful person at the level of a true god in ancient times. When the spacetime prison was opened this time, a total of 7 true god-level Scions came out, and the number of destruction-level Scions reached more than 3,000. These people were mainly Athanasius, and they directly occupied the 6th universe. In the palace of the god of destruction, Aphanasy sat in the center, with 6 god-level Scions sitting in rows below him. Are you sure? The 7th universe is now occupied by the Frozen clan. A burly Scion stood up and said, Ancestor, it is confirmed that a 9th-level ice demon named Anet led 4 7th-level ice demons to kill the king of the Kai, and then fought against Whis of the Angel clan, and finally drove the Angel clan out of the 7th universe. Laras is a Scion in the late True God stage. This time he went to the 7th universe to inquire about information. However, he did not expect that the other party was actually a 9th-order ice demon. If he had not left in time, he might have died there. Anet? I remember it, it's that guy. He was quite famous in the Ice Clan back then, but the ancient Ice Demon King was afraid that he would affect his status, so he exiled him. At this time, another Scion in the early stage of True God, Abner, said, Ancestor, I went down to the lower world this time and found a descendant of our Scions in the lower world. However, their bloodline has degenerated greatly, and the strongest is only in the late stage of Emperor. Do we need to bring them back to the God realm? Aphanasy was stunned. By the way, what happened to the Scion named Son Goku? Abner replied, he has great potential, and he's a battle maniac. I'm afraid it won't take long for him to recover his ultimate power. Aphanasy thought of that unyielding look, and it was really the same as when he was young. Although he was suppressed by the energy that destroyed the origin, he still insisted on practicing his Scion energy. Well, Ancestor Buwang helped him remove the law of destruction from his body. However, his transformation is very interesting. He did not directly take the evolutionary route of reversion to his ancestors. Abner replied, well, it's different, but from what he said, he seems to be from the 7th universe. I don't know if there are any descendants of ours in the 7th universe. Lara said, Ancestor, the 7th universe is now controlled by the Frozen clan. If our descendants really exist, I'm afraid they will be in great danger. A fantasy said, then I will go to the 7th universe myself to see if there are any of our descendants left, and then bring them all here. Lara's, you will be in charge of this place while I am away. By the way, as for the descendants of the lower world, send a few of your tribesmen who have reached the limit of destruction to guard them, and the rest of you should practice hard. Yes. After a fantasy finished speaking, he disappeared into the hall. On an open space in the realm of gods, Sun Wukong, with the help of Athanasius, cleared the destructive energy from his body. Although his strength had decreased a lot now, after a period of practice, he recovered and was even better than before. Ha! He is still too weak among the scions now, so he has never thought that his own tribe is so strong. Sun Wukong keeps punching and doing some basic training. Suddenly, a figure appeared not far from Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong, are you from the 7th universe? Sun Wukong stopped practicing, yes, ancestor of fantasy. Sun Wukong learned from others that the scion in front of him was the ancestor of their scion race, and that he had reached the level of a true god, so he admired him very much. A fantasy sensed Sun Wukong's current situation and said, yes, he has recovered to his limit of destruction. Sun Wukong now has purple-red hair, and his aura is completely gathered within his body, having completely mastered the realm of super god purple-red. I haven't thanked Ancestor of Fantasy for his help yet, otherwise I would still be disturbed by that destructive energy, and I don't know when I can recover. A fantasy said, I can feel that the blood in your body is very strong, but it has not yet awakened. Practice well and strive to enter the true god level as soon as possible. Yes, is Ancestor of Fantasy going to the 7th universe? Can you take me with you? A fantasy nodded. He came here originally to bring Sun Wukong with him. After all, Sun Wukong could be said to have come from the 7th universe. In the 7th universe, the golden giant ape Vegeta was chasing Frieza and they fought their way out of the space-time tunnel. After coming out of the space-time tunnel, there was no more suppression. Frieza replied, knocking the golden giant ape away, Vegeta, I will remember you. Next time we meet, I will kill all of you scions. Vegeta's golden giant ape's body was too huge. Although the suppression was reduced after leaving the space-time channel, his speed was far slower than Frieza's. He could only watch Frieza leave. Damn it, Frieza, once I get used to this power, you will die. Although the golden giant ape's body gave Vegeta invincible defense and strength, his speed was always a shortcoming. After waiting for a long time, Piccolo and Monoranx did not appear, so he thought they might have returned to Earth. On Earth, ever since Trunks left, the elderly Bulma has been uneasy, always feeling that Trunks might never come back, and she has been waiting for more than 10 days. On this day, Bulma was standing on the balcony of her house, looking up at the sky. At this moment, a crack suddenly appeared in the sky, and a giant golden ape nearly 2,000 meters tall slowly emerged from the crack. The Earth instantly sounded the alarm at this moment, and the entire western capital was frightened by the sudden appearance of the giant ape. You must know that the Earth has experienced countless storms and is no longer the same as before. It has no ability to resist the invasion. It can be said that even if Trunks did not exist, the invaders with a combat power of less than 1 million would probably just die. Countless advanced weapons were instantly aimed at the golden giant ape. Unfortunately, although the killing power was amazing, it was not even enough to tickle the golden giant ape. Bulma, make them stop. The voice of the golden giant ape was heard. This was because Vegeta had already regarded the Earth as his home. Otherwise, with his past temper, the entire Earth would have disappeared long ago. A long-lost voice sounded in Bulma's ears, and the giant golden ape slowly landed on the ground. This was Bulma's home. If it were any other place, there would probably be no place for the giant golden ape to settle down. You are Vegeta. It's me. Trunks and the others haven't come back yet. Bulma quickly contacted the Earth's defense forces, and all crisis alerts were lifted. Today on Earth, the Bulma family has absolute authority. You must know that Trunks has faced countless dangers alone. Trunks is like the guardian angel of the Earth, and many of the Earth's high-end weapons were invented by Bulma's family. For the Earth, Bulma's family is like a savior. Are you really Vegeta? How did you become like this? It's a long story. Let's put the Earth on alert. The entire universe is too dangerous now. Let's prepare and move to another Earth. What's going on? Vegeta briefly explained what happened. He learned from Frieza that Gohan and Piccolo were rescued by Saiten. He thought Trunks should be with them, but it was not clear why he had not returned yet. However, he thought there should be no problem. From Frisia's tone, it can be seen that Frisia is afraid of Kakarot's son from another time and space. What Vegeta has to do is to protect Bulma's safety on this earth and prevent the tragedy of his own time and space from happening again. At this moment, Vegeta didn't know that a large number of imprisoned strong men had already escaped from the space-time channel, and even a force was heading towards the Earth. Broly left the space-time channel half a day later than Vegeta and the others. After leaving the space-time channel, he sensed an extremely strong energy reaction on the Earth, coming straight in this direction. However, Broly did not notice that shortly after he left, the angel who rescued Sapsol and Sapsol also followed closely with hundreds of angels of destruction limit. Pete was sent to the space-time prison in ancient times, and he knew Sapsol in ancient times. However, Pete is a late-stage true god, much stronger than Sapsol, otherwise it would be impossible for him to rescue Sapsol from Broly. After bringing out Sapsol and hundreds of angels with the limit of destruction, he hid secretly. His purpose was to wait for Broly to come out and follow him all the way to destroy all the Scions. Broly didn't know that he was being followed by Piero and Saptor, so he escaped directly into the subspace and headed towards the Earth. Broly did not hide his breath, and when he was about to approach the Earth, his breath was captured by the golden giant ape Vegeta. Bulma, there is a powerful aura approaching the Earth. Shut down the Earth's weapon systems. This aura cannot be dealt with by human weapons. Got it, be careful. Vegeta's huge body sank directly into the clouds, and soon, Broly arrived in outer space of the Earth and returned to the real universe from the subspace. Broly didn't expect that the energy reaction from the Earth was actually a giant ape, but he also felt the breath of the same blood in the giant ape's body. Vegeta didn't expect that the person who came was actually a Scion, and judging from his aura, he was a very powerful Scion. Who are you and what do you want to do on Earth? Broly, who are you? What, Broly? You're that Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Vegeta naturally knew Broly, a Saiyan who was far stronger than him in terms of combat power. His combat power was over 10,000. And if he remembered correctly, he should have been born on the same day as Kakarot. He just didn't expect to meet him here. However, the Vegeta of the present is no longer the Vegeta of the past. After being baptized by a drop of blood of the ancient golden giant ape in the space-time prison, Vegeta's own blood is no worse than Broly's. Broly, what do you want to do on Earth? Broly replied, who are you? What happened in the Milky Way now? Why is the demonic empire gone? The demonic empire? Do you mean the other empire formed by Kakarot? Broly said, that's right, I didn't expect that after I left and came back, the entire demonic martial empire had disappeared. Vegeta replied, there is no demon empire now. I heard from Whis, the angel of this universe, that all the people of the demon empire have moved to the true demon realm. Vegeta then slowly told Broly what he knew. Broly had not expected that so many things would happen after he left the Galactic Star region, but he was also very excited to hear that Chi Tian and Bardock had reached the true god level. Broly suddenly turned around and said, it looks like the people who came out of the time and space prison are following us. Vegeta, I will hold back the two true god level angels for a while, and you will deal with the rest. At this time, Vegeta also felt that there were hundreds of powerful auras coming from the subspace, the aura of the angels, this aura is Sapsol. Do you know him? Vegeta replied, I have met him once. At that time, I had not yet obtained the opportunity, so I was considered the god of destruction in the lower world. However, he was being chased by someone at the time, and I didn't expect that he would be chased to Earth. Broly also felt some pressure. If it was just one person, it would be fine. But now the opponent had two true god-level fighters, and several hundred destroyer-level fighters. However, Broly was confident that he could deal with two true god-level fighters at the same time, but he didn't know if Vegeta could withstand the siege of hundreds of destroyer-level fighters. Here we go, get ready to fight. Broly stretched out one arm, and Pete and others who were flying at high speed in the subspace were directly pulled into reality. An angel who was at the limit of destruction shouted angrily, who are you? You are looking for death. But the next moment, Vegeta's giant hand directly grasped it in his hand, and then squeezed it, and immediately a crackling sound came from the angel's body. Boom! With a thunderous sound, the angel of destruction limit was crushed by Vegeta in the form of a golden giant ape before he could even say his name. Piet and Sapsol were furious, giant golden ape, Broly, you are looking for death. Then Sapsol rushed directly towards the golden giant ape, while Pete rushed towards Broly. Broly exploded at this moment, emitting true god-level power, and kicked Sapsol back. Safel flew backwards for thousands of meters before stopping, but Vegeta ignored the two true god-level angels and rushed into the group of angels of destruction with his huge body in an instant. The true god-level combat power burst out instantly. In a flash, 4 or 5 angels had no time to dodge and were caught by Vegeta, and then directly crushed. Damn it, form an angel battle formation. The next moment, hundreds of angels at the limit of destruction, in groups of 6, formed a battle formation of little angels and joined forces to attack the golden giant ape. The 6 in 1 actually displayed the combat power of a true god all at once. Ha ha ha, just in time. The 2,000-meter-tall golden giant ape has an invincible physical defense, and the attack of the little angel battle formation only burned part of Vegeta's fur. Take my attack too, heaven covering palm. Vegeta's energy directly covered his palms and pressed fiercely towards a small angel battle formation. Withstand. Unfortunately, in the face of absolute power, everything was in vain. As the palm pressed down, the 6 angels were instantly knocked thousands of meters away. Then the second group of angels and the third group of angels slapped hundreds of angels away like slapping flies. A few weaker ones were even slapped to death in the void. On the other side, Broly was fighting 1 against 2. Safel had been traumatized by the time in the space-time prison, and now he could only rely on Pete and assist from the side. Scion, the loser of ancient times, you will die today too. Roar. Broly roared, his strength increased again, and he easily blocked Piero's attack with 1 punch, and knocked Sapsel away with a Qigong wave. Boom! Boom! The figures of Broly and Piero kept flashing in the void, moving the battlefield further and further away from the Earth. However, Vegeta also encountered some minor troubles. Originally, Vegeta thought that with his combat power of the late true god, he could easily deal with these hundreds of angels, but he did not expect that the angels that formed the battle formation could actually regroup again. The Archangel battle formation consists of 36 angels in each group, and there are a total of 7 groups of Archangel battle formations. Each group can exert the combat power of a mid-stage true god. Giant Golden Ape, if you are angry with us, attack us together. 7 energy waves emitting a destructive aura came directly towards Vegeta from 7 directions. Damn it, it can actually be superimposed to this extent. Vegeta covered his vital points with air, ready to take on 7 attacks. In an instant, 7 streams of destructive energy came from his head, heart, and limbs. Boom! 7 consecutive explosions were heard, and Vegeta's golden giant ape's body was blown so hard that blood gushed out. He was injured, but luckily his head and heart were not fatal. But his limbs were blown up and his flesh and blood were swollen. Vegeta quickly moved away, and the injured parts of his limbs continued to recover. After a while, the injured parts were restored. Very good, you are very good. The next moment, Vegeta's body shape suddenly changed, and he instantly shrank from 2,000 meters to 1,000 meters, but the aura on his body was much stronger than before. Between life and death, Vegeta finally absorbed and mastered the power of the golden giant ape, and at the same time raised his realm from the limit of destruction to a level infinitely close to the true god level. No, we can't give the other party a chance to adapt to his strength. However, it was too late. Vegeta appeared in front of a group of archangels in an instant and punched out fiercely. Boom! 36 angels were severely injured in an instant, and the angel battle formation was disrupted. Before they could react, a force that was enough to kill a true god suddenly gathered from the mouth of the golden giant ape. Boom! The energy wave whizzed out, and only 4 of the 36 angels escaped the attack range in an instant. The remaining 32 were hit at once and then directly vaporized. At the same time, the attacks from the other 6 groups of Archangel battle formations also arrived instantly. 6 energy waves instantly knocked the golden giant ape several thousand meters away. At the same time, a large piece of flesh and blood disappeared from the back of the golden giant ape, and only the internal bones were clearly visible. A large amount of blood dripped out of the wound. Vegeta was furious, dealing with hundreds of people at once, even he felt the pressure at this moment. The air instantly wrapped around the wound, and the granulation tissue at the injured site rolled, and it recovered after a short while. On Broly's side, the 2 true gods, Sapsel and Piet, kept attacking, and Broly was forced to retreat step by step. Oh! A sigh came from Broly's mouth, and the next moment, Broly's figure suddenly began to change. Broly's dark green hair grew rapidly, and soon it grew below the waist. At the same time, his whole face became extremely evil, and his strength was much stronger than before. You two must be proud enough to force me to use my full strength. The 3rd stage of Super Saiyan of the Saiyan royal bloodline, Broly's combat power at this moment is close to the peak of the true god. Piet and Sapsel looked at each other, and saw horror in each other's eyes. Run! The two fled in two different directions. At this moment, they suddenly realized how naive they were and why they followed. Ha ha ha, can you escape? Do you really think I didn't notice you were following me? Broly's speed suddenly increased, and the next moment he instantly stopped the weaker Sapsel. You can die now. Boom! Broly punched through Sapsel's chest, and a large amount of golden blood gushed out from Sapsel's heart. I can't accept that I died at the hands of a scion. Let's die together. Boom! Sapsel suddenly detonated his angel heart. Broly didn't expect Sapsel to be so decisive, and he didn't have time to get out of the explosion range. Life Shield. A dark green energy instantly enveloped Broly, but the next moment, he was blown hundreds of kilometers away by the explosive energy. Cough! Broly's heart surged, and the next moment, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and at the same time, his Super Saiyan 3 form disappeared. I was careless. I didn't expect that I would explode the angel's heart directly. Damn it! On the other side, Pete had already escaped into the subspace and fled far away. At the same time, hundreds of angels at the limit of destruction also received Pete's message and left a group of archangels to entangle Vegeta, while the others quickly fled far away. When Broly returned to Vegeta, the formation of 36 angels of limit destruction had been broken. There were still 2 angels who were desperately trying to escape, but they were killed instantly by Broly, who drove them back. Broly and Vegeta smiled at each other, and in one battle they killed a mid-stage true god angel and nearly 100 angels at the limit of destruction, which was a great victory. After Frieza came out of the space-time prison, he quickly left Vegeta behind. Frieza, who had already reached the level of a true god, naturally would not focus on a mere galactic star field. However, Frieza also knew that even if he had reached the level of a true god, he was not invincible in this universe. Son Gohan's strength is comparable to his, and Vegeta's golden giant ape form is not something he can fight against now. And there is also the scion that made Sapsel escape, and it is not known whether he will return to the 7th universe again. Although he does not take the god of destruction seriously, the angel Whis is a tough guy. If it were in the past, Frieza might have been most afraid of the god of destruction, but now think about the 10 standing behind the god of destruction, he is the real strong man. Frieza felt very sad. He had obviously reached the level of a true god, but he found that his enemies were getting stronger and stronger. And as their strength grew, Frieza realized that he had been looking at the world from a narrow perspective. With a combat power of only over 100 million, he thought he was the best in the universe. In a dark space at the border of the northern Milky Way, there is a planet about 10,000 times the size of the Earth. It is covered with thick glaciers. However, this planet has obviously been destroyed by something, and gullies tens of thousands of meters deep can be seen everywhere. The temperature on the planet has almost reached -100 degrees Celsius. If a person does not have a little strength, it is impossible to survive on this planet. The gravity of the planet is about 150 times that of the Earth. There are no stars in the surrounding space, as if it is always in darkness. The ancestral demon planet is the ancestral planet of the ice demons of the 7th universe. More than 900 years ago, after entering Super Saiyan 2, Bardock almost wiped out the entire Ice Clan on the ancestral demon planet by himself, but was blocked by the underworld forces of the Milky Way at that time. However, even so, there were not many people left in the entire Ice Clan on the ancestral demon planet. Frieza followed his memory and soon arrived at the place where he was born. Suddenly, a breath appeared in Frieza's perception. This breath, a new member of the tribe has broken the seal. In an abyss, a strong breath suddenly blasted through the thick ice on the ground, and a figure slowly emerged from the ice mist. If you look closely, this figure is almost exactly the same as Frieza in the 3rd level form. The figure is about 1 meter tall, and is completely a smaller version of Frieza. Frieza's figure suddenly appeared. This figure didn't know who the person was, and a fierce energy wave attacked Frieza. Wow, we are indeed the Frozen Clan. Once the seal is broken, our combat power reaches nearly 200 million. Frieza casually crushed the energy ball and laughed loudly. This aptitude is even stronger than Frieza's. You know, when Frieza broke the seal, his combat power was only 53 million. Who are you? Frieza laughed loudly. My lord Frieza, kid, not bad, you have such fighting power once the seal is broken. After Frieza finished speaking, a divine power pressed towards the opposite side. The little ice demon was facing a formidable enemy and looked at Frieza in disbelief. In that instant it was as if his soul was stripped away from him. So strong. Frieza, I remember you, a member of my tribe who was frozen at the same time as me. I didn't expect you to be so strong already. Frisia was shocked. He didn't expect that the other party knew him. Oh, you know me. Who are you? Nicholas, do it. Frisia said, it's you. I remember now. I didn't expect you to wake up at this time. Don't worry, I won't kill you now. After all, our current enemy is the Scions. They have revived. What, you mean Super Scion? Frisia replied, Super Scion, no, it's hundreds and thousands of times stronger than a Super Scion. My current form is that of a true god, but even I can't say I can beat the strongest Scions among them. Nicholas could naturally feel how powerful Frisia was, and that a single glance could destroy him, but he never expected that such a powerful Frisia would not be a match for the Scions. Frisia, you are no match for me now, so having me is useless. After all, I am still in the larval stage, and it will take me hundreds of years to grow up. Frisia naturally understood. You have to know that their ice clan is different from other races. They are frozen at birth and continue to grow stronger in slumber. Originally, Frisia would not break the seal so early, but his father forcibly awakened him from the ice in order to use him to balance Kira. However, even so, Frisia's combat power when he broke the seal was terrifyingly high. Of course, this also led to him having no way to fully control that powerful force, and he had been transforming himself back to the first form for many years. With Frisia's qualifications, if he had broken the seal normally, he would have waited until now to be born. However, Frisia is also a man with great opportunities, especially in the battles with the Scions. He has continued to grow, and now it can be said that he has truly reached the pinnacle of the Ice Clan. Don't worry, I know how to train you. I will train you well and make you grow up as quickly as possible. After all, I am no match for the Scions alone. Nicholas thought about it and said, okay, I'll trouble you from now on. At this moment, hundreds of auras came from outer space. Although these auras were not as strong as Frisia's, they should not be underestimated. Frisia used his spiritual sense to investigate and found that they were all members of the Ice Clan. How is this possible? What's the matter? Nicholas asked. Frisia replied, the Ice Clan, dozens of Ice Clan with the power to destroy the limit. After a while, these dozens of frozen demons began to look for something on the ancestral demon star. They saw that the young creatures of the frozen clan that were frozen in the ice were directly sucked out along with the ice layer. Frisia was furious. What did these people want to do? At the same time, Frisia's divine power spread to the entire planet. Then Frisia stretched out his hand and instantly grabbed a frozen demon. Who are you and why did you come to my ancestral demon planet? Frisia didn't believe that there were so many powerful tribesmen on their ancestral demon planet. Needless to say, these people must have come from other places. The captured frozen demon was shocked. He didn't expect that there existed a true god-level frozen clan on this ancestral planet. Master True God, we are following orders to take our people to the god realm for resettlement. Frisia said, orders? Whose orders? Ancestor Anet, we have now occupied the god realm. Ancestor Anet asked us to go down to the mortal world and bring all the people from the ancestral planet back to the god realm. Frisia said, what's going on? And what's your name and where are you from? Andrea, we have been imprisoned in a space-time prison, but the space-time passage of the space-time prison was opened a few days ago, so our ancestors led us back to the outside world. Then Andrea slowly told him about the space-time prison and Anet. Frisia said, I see, my battle with that Scion actually released a bunch of old monsters. After a while, these dozens of frozen demons with the limit of destruction came in front of Frisia with thousands of frozen demons that were still frozen. There was no way. They had not expected that what they thought was a simple errand would turn out to be encountering true god-level tribesmen on the ancestral star of the lower realm. Although they knew that Frisia was just a junior, the other person's strength was there, and even if he returned to the divine realm, his status would be far above theirs. Master True God, are you going back to the god realm with us? Frisia had never thought that in ancient times, the entire 6th and 7th universes were under the control of their clan. However, Frisia knew that although he was now a true god, he was probably not good enough in front of the Anet ancestor mentioned by this group of people. Of course, he also knew that the current frozen clan had only 5 true god-level strongmen, including him. Finally, Frisia decided to go to the god realm with this group of people. The times have changed. Andrea said that this time, not only the frozen clan escaped from the space-time prison, but also some powerful people from the ancient times, including those in the late true god stage and the peak true god stage. Nicholas also learned from these predecessors that the current era should be the most chaotic era. If the Ice Clan wants to maintain their ruling position, they must stick together, so they naturally follow Frisia to the God realm. The former King Kai, the divine world of the 7th universe, has now become the territory of the Ice Clan. Annette stood on the highest peak of King Kai, feeling the continuous return of the Ice Clan who were sent to the lower world, as well as the return of countless tribesmen who were forgotten in the lower world. Suddenly, an unfamiliar true god-level aura appeared in Annette's perception, and Annette's figure suddenly disappeared on the top of the peak, and when it reappeared, it was tens of thousands of miles away. Frisia came back with Andrea. As soon as he arrived at the god realm, he found a powerful divine consciousness spying on him. The next moment, a figure nearly 10 feet tall suddenly appeared in front of him. Andrea and the others did not expect Annette to suddenly appear. After seeing Annette, they immediately knelt on one knee, "Ancestor." Annette nodded casually, then looked at Frisia, and a spiritual force instantly pressed towards Frisia. Frisia felt as if he was facing a formidable enemy. At this moment, he finally knew what a truly strong man was. Cold sweat broke out on his head. However, Frisia was Frisia after all. He did not kneel down because of Annette's wire. Instead, he released his own aura and struggled to resist Annette's wire. Annette could feel that Frisia was at most in the middle stage of true god. He didn't expect that a junior in the middle stage of true god could actually withstand his wire. Although it was just a test and he only used less than 10% of his divine power, it was already amazing. Annette then withdrew his wire. Frisia felt as if he was being stared at by the god of death, but not long after, the divine might was withdrawn from him. Frisia relaxed all over and asked solemnly, "You are the ancestor they mentioned, you are indeed powerful." Annette had a blank expression on his face, and he could not tell whether he was happy or sad. He said, "You are in the middle stage of true god. I didn't expect that there would be a true god-level tribesman among the younger generation. Judging from your age, you should not be more than 1,000 years old." Frisia replied, "To be precise, it has been no more than 100 years since the seal was broken." Annette was shocked. 100 years, that was definitely a genius. Even in ancient times, it was definitely a genius. "Ha ha ha, not bad, your name is Frisia, right? What are you planning to do in the future?" Frisia said, "Scion, I wonder what our ancestors think of the Scions." Annette replied, "Scion? What, you have a grudge against the Scions?" "But that's right, our tribe has been at odds with the Scions since ancient times." Frisia asked, "In ancient times?" Although Frisia has reached the level of a true god, he does not seem to be very clear about the history of his own race. Annette also saw Frisia's confusion, and then said, "Come with me, it seems that you have completely lost the history of your own race." Annette asked others to arrange for the young tribesmen brought up from the underworld, and then took Frisia to a palace. In fact, Annette was not very clear about what happened after the ancient times. A lot of information was obtained from the tribesmen who were later imprisoned in the time and space prison. However, what Annette did not expect was that after the ancient times, the Scions, Namex, and Ice tribe, who were also the 7 ancient tribes, lived such a miserable life. Now only the demons are still competing with the angels and the Kaioshin. After Frisia heard the stories of ancient times from Annette, he realized that his own Ice Clan also had such a glorious history in ancient times. Annette asked, "There are still Scions in the 7th universe?" "From what you mean?" Frisia said, "Not only are there Scions, but they are Scions who have reached the level of true gods." Annette said, "True god level?" Frisia, "Can you contact these Scions?" "Contact? And Tito? Do you want to unite with them to fight against the angels and the Kaioshin?" Annette said, "Yes, we just came out of the time and space prison. Now our biggest enemy is not the Scions. We have a common enemy, that is, the angels and the Kaioshin. Moreover, the angels and the demons have gone through billions of years. No one knows how many true god-level strongmen they have now, so I hope that the feud between you and the Scions can be temporarily stopped." After learning about some things from ancient times, Frisia also knew that the biggest opponent nowadays is not the Scions, but the angels and the King of Gods. However, if he were to resolve the grievances with Vegeta and others, I'm afraid that even if he agreed, Vegeta and others would not agree. I'm afraid it will be a little difficult, but if you take action, it won't be a big problem. After all, with your strength, those Scions can't be your opponent at all. Annette said, "Frisia, you are wrong. It is true that with my current strength at the limit of the true god, I can easily kill them, but if a fantasy finds out, I am afraid that there will be no possibility for our 2 tribes to cooperate anymore." "A fantasy? Could he also be the Scion who escaped from the time and space prison this time?" "Yes, even I am not sure I can defeat him. He is very strong. He is the third son of the ancient golden giant ape. He was imprisoned in a space-time prison by the ancient frozen demon of our clan. At this moment, a voice came, Annette, aren't you afraid that I will beat you to death for exposing my shortcomings like this? Frisia was shocked. He didn't even notice the other person's presence. Who is it? Little guy, it's none of your business. Frisia suddenly felt a palpitating force pressing on him, as if he was about to be crushed. With a wave of his hand, Annette waved his hand, and the pressure on Frisia disappeared. A fantasy, how come the sixth universe has been controlled? As expected of you, you are a genius that even your ancestors feared in the ancient times. As soon as you got out of the time and space prison, you were promoted to the limit of a true god. Same here, a fantasy. How about the two tribes cooperate? I believe you should also know the current situation. Although we have driven the angels back, once the angels get serious, you and I are just at the limit. I'm afraid it will be difficult to resist their counterattack, right? Of course, Annette, we are old acquaintances since ancient times. We were imprisoned in the time and space prison together by your ancestor. In the ancient times, Annette's rapid growth made the ancient ice demon Vitalik afraid. Later, Annette fought with a fantasy, and when both were injured, he was discovered by Vitalik, who took the opportunity to send both of them directly to the time and space prison. It was also because of this that the two of them got to know each other and formed a deep friendship. Okay, give me a definite answer. The two tribes will form an alliance, at least to fight against the angel tribe. Okay. By the way, there are quite a few of our people in the seventh universe. I'll take them away soon. At this time, Sun Wukong stood up from behind a fantasy and said, Frisia, let's have a showdown in a month, and then all past grudges will be wiped out. Frisia had already spotted Son Goku behind Afanaji, Humph, defeated General, are you and Vegeta going to attack together? A fantasy and Annette reached a preliminary alliance, and Son Goku also agreed with Frisia to have a duel in a month. In the star field of the galaxy star field where Trunks is located, Vegeta and Broly fought and killed a true god of the angel clan. After defeating nearly 100 powerful people who had reached the limit of destruction, he also suffered serious injuries. The two returned to Earth, and on Earth, intensive migration work was underway, but most of the people on Earth were unwilling to leave their hometown, and Bulma also wanted to stay on Earth and wait for Trunks to return. One day later, Vegeta and Broly recovered from their injuries. However, at this moment, a powerful aura suddenly appeared above the Earth. This aura is Kakaroro. What's going on? Has he also broken free from the shackles of the law of destruction? The next moment, Sun Wukong brought a fantasy to Vegeta, hey, Vegeta, why did you turn into a giant ape? However, neither Vegeta nor Broly focused on Son Goku, but looked solemnly at another person, a fantasy. Just now, when Sun Wukong arrived, they all sensed it, but they never thought that there was another person besides Sun Wukong. Even if this person was in front of them, if they hadn't seen it with their naked eyes, they wouldn't dare to believe that there was such a person. Who are you? Vegeta and Broly asked almost at the same time. Son Goku then remembered the existence of a fantasy, and touched his head and said, Vegeta, who is the other one, is he also a scion? Son Goku looked at Broly, and Broly also discovered that this Son Goku seemed to be almost identical to the Son Tian he had seen before. Kakarot, I am Broly. We were born on the same day, but unfortunately you are so much worse than the other you. Sun Wukong asked, are you talking about Son Tian? A fantasy ignored their conversation and stared at Vegeta. On Vegeta, a fantasy felt the aura of his brother, Naxia's Jr. No, it's just the aura of Naxia. What's your name? Vegeta was very afraid of a fantasy. He felt the threat of death from a fantasy. However, judging from the other party's appearance, he should also be a scion. Could it be? Oh, the scion in the space-time prison, Vegeta greets you, senior. A fantasy stretched out his hand and pointed, and the golden giant ape Vegeta, which was nearly 1,000 meters tall, floated in front of a fantasy uncontrollably. A fantasy put one hand on the giant ape's head. After a while, a fantasy said with some sadness, so that's how it is. Naxia actually passed on a drop of blood to you. Practice well and don't bring down my brother's reputation. Vegeta was a little dizzy, brother. Which senior are you? Sun Wukong had already finished communicating with Broly, and when he saw Vegeta asking, he replied, Vegeta, guess who this is? The ancestor of us Scions, the third son of the ancient golden giant ape ancestor. Hiss. Vegeta and Broly gasped, meet the ancestors. A fantasy smiled and said, very good, I didn't expect that your generation would produce two true gods. You didn't embarrass us Scions. A day later, Vegeta and Broly followed a fantasy back to Universe 6, along with Xiao Fang, the daughter of Son Gohan from another Earth, and thousands of scions from the southern Longnu River region of Universe 7. As for Bulma, she was not willing to leave with Vegeta and the others. However, when a fantasy left, he deliberately left a space barrier above the two Earths. If a space civilization developed on Earth, they could leave Earth, but if they wanted to return to Earth, they had to be of Scion blood or have reached the peak of true God strength, which made Vegeta and Son Goku feel a lot more relieved. In the divine world of the 6th universe, Vegeta and Broly are training Son Goku well. It has been almost 10 days since they came to the 6th universe, but Son Goku is still a little short of becoming a true god. Vegeta expresses his understanding of the competition between Son Goku and Frieza. Kakarot, if you haven't broken through to the true god level by then the qualification for the competition will be left to me. Broly also said that he could take his place, leaving Son Goku speechless. Vegeta, how did you break through to become a true god? Vegeta was also helpless. You know, although his strength is far superior to that of Sun Wukong, he broke through to the true god because of a great opportunity. He absorbed a drop of blood from the ancestor of Nashia and was able to break through. It can be said that he only has the combat power of a true god now, and his realm is actually not much different from that of Sun Wukong. Kakarot, my situation is rather special. Strictly speaking, I am not a true god yet. Son Goku turned to look at Broly again. Broly, what about you? Broly replied, my method is not suitable for you. You should know that on planet Vegeta, there is a story about a legendary Super Saiyan appearing every 1,000 years, right? In fact, for tens of thousands of years in the Milky Way, every legendary Super Saiyan has been me. It was the first time Vegeta heard this. What? It's all you. Broly replied, of course, once in 1,000 years, it's a cycle. Broly slowly told his story, leaving Vegeta and Son Goku stunned. Sun Wukong said, so you are actually tens of thousands of years old. Broly replied, it's just a few tens of thousands of years of memory. In this life, I am the same as you. Kakarot, your bloodline is stronger than mine, why haven't you awakened yet? Sun Wukong replied, I don't know either. Forget it, I'll continue training. Vegeta will fight with me again. Vegeta said, forget it. With you now, I'm afraid I'll accidentally beat you to death. Broly, don't worry about him, let's go fight our own battles. Sun Wukong suddenly found that he seemed to be disliked. Hey, Vegeta, don't be like this. Kakarot, do you really want to fight us? Bring it on. Son Goku completely unleashed his energy, and the entire world of destruction was shaking, but Vegeta and Broly were not moved at all. Although Sun Wukong is very powerful now, he is still not enough in front of the two true gods. Before long, Sun Wukong is tortured to death. Stop, if you keep hitting me, I'll die. Vegeta laughed out loud, ha 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 ha, Kakarot, you've finally gotten to this day. You can finally feel the frustration you've been feeling in the past. It doesn't matter for Broly, he doesn't have much interaction with Son Goku. Sun Wukong was speechless, but after 2 days of training, Sun Wukong found that his bottleneck seemed to be loosening. Vegeta, I feel like I'm about to break through. Vegeta was stunned for a moment, no way, you're going to break through after being beaten by us? Sun Wukong said, yes. Sun Wukong suddenly flew into the sky, his aura continued to rise, and all the aura in his body slowly gathered towards his body. Ah! 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 A shocking roar came from Sun Wukong's mouth. In the sky, a purple-red cloud floated over. The whole world of gods was startled by this breath. At the same time, Sun Wukong's figure began to change slowly. His purple-red hair quickly lengthened, and his face became more angular. At the same time, his eyebrows disappeared, and his pupils also turned purple-red. Roar! It was as if an ancient beast had awakened. Behind Sun Wukong, a giant ape shadow nearly 10,000 meters high appeared, and then the giant ape shadow slowly shrank and finally merged into Sun Wukong's body. In Sun Wukong's mind, the barrier that had been blocking him was instantly torn apart after the giant ape's shadow entered his body. Super Saiyan God Purple Red 3rd Stage. Vegeta, try again. After the breakthrough, Sun Wukong suddenly teleported and appeared in front of Vegeta. Before Vegeta could react, he threw countless punches. Ha ha ha. Kakarot, you underestimate me. I just broke through, and you want to bully me? The golden giant ape Vegeta easily dodged Sun Wukong's attack and launched a counterattack. The two sides fought for hundreds of rounds in almost an instant, with the man and the ape fighting back and forth in the air. However, it didn't take long before Sun Wukong felt obviously exhausted. Boom! Sun Wukong was slapped and flew away. What do you think, Kakarot? Even if you break through, you are still not my opponent. You know, Vegeta's golden giant ape form has the strength of a mid-stage true god. How can it be comparable to Sun Wukong, who has just broken through and hasn't had time to stabilize himself, and is at the early stage of true god? Sun Wukong flew several thousand meters before he was able to withstand Vegeta's attack. So strong. Vegeta, you fought against Frieza, how can I fight him now? Not even close. Even though Frieza is abominable, we have to admit that his strength is at least at the middle stage of true god. Okay. For the next 20 days, you have to fight with me. 20 days passed in a flash, and no major accidents occurred during this period. The scions of the 6th universe also gradually moved into the god realm. In a void area between the 6th and 7th universes, a fantasy brought Goku, Vegeta, and Broly here. Apart from them, there was no one else. Not long after, Annette also came here with Frieza and 2 other ice demons in the early stage of true god. A fantasy and Annette jointly constructed a barrier that could withstand the impact of the power of a late-stage true god. The size of the barrier was nearly 10,000 meters in radius. Frieza and Son Goku entered the barrier, and their duel ended with one of them admitting defeat, and the fateful duel began again. Outside, a fantasy and Annette were watching the situation inside the arena. Annette said, "This junior of yours should have just entered the true god level not long ago, right? Aren't you afraid that he will die at the hands of Frieza?" A fantasy said, "You should worry about your descendant. He has lost 3 of his horns of destruction. I heard that he was beaten to pieces by my son. Annette, your descendants don't seem to be as good as mine." A fantasy replied while looking at Broly and Vegeta unintentionally, meaning that among my juniors there are 3 true gods, but among your juniors you only have 1 Frieza. The two had known each other for many years, so Annette knew what a fantasy meant. He snorted coldly and paid attention to the changes within the barrier. Inside the barrier, Frieza said coldly, "Son Goku, you just stepped into the true god level, and you dare to challenge me. It looks like my wish for revenge can be fulfilled today." After 20 days of training, Sun Wukong has completely mastered the 3rd stage transformation of Super Saiyan God Purple Red, and even in his normal state of Super Saiyan God Purple Red, he already has the combat power of a true god. Frieza, I'm afraid I'll disappoint you. You want revenge, and I want revenge for my family as well. Come on, let's see whether it's you who dies at my hands or me who dies at yours. Frieza was furious, but at the same time he felt that Son Goku seemed different now, not like before. The two began to release their own energy. Frieza was seen with a purple-black aura, full of aggressiveness, while Son Goku had already transformed into the 3rd stage of Super Saiyan God Purple Red, and his purple-red aura was not inferior to Frieza at all. Suddenly, the 2 figures disappeared, and the next moment, they appeared almost at the same time above the barrier. Boom! In an instant, hundreds of rounds of fighting had already taken place, and layers of shock waves spread outward in a visible form, but when they reached the edge of the barrier, they were easily blocked. The powerful barrier allowed the 2 to act without restraint. Their figures kept flashing in the entire barrier. Sometimes Goku was knocked away and Frieza pursued him. Sometimes Frieza was knocked down and Goku bombarded him madly. Outside, Vegeta in the form of a golden giant ape is now only about 100 meters tall. Although he is not as huge as before, his aura has become much stronger. Kakarot, that guy, has grown to this point. Broly has grass-green hair. He is a true genius. After his bloodline awakens to the true god level, he will only become stronger. Annette watched the battle inside, so strong, a fantasy, did you really break through only 20 days ago? You know, although Goku seems to be lagging behind Frieza now, it has been more than half a year since Frieza advanced to the true god, while it has only been 20 days for Goku, yet he can fight with Frieza to this level. The other 2 true gods brought by Annette couldn't believe it. You know, it took them hundreds of millions of years to advance to true god. But now, whether it's Frieza, Son Goku, or even Vegeta and Broly next to them, almost none of them are over 100 years old. Is this world too crazy or are they out of date? Within the barrier, Frieza laughed and said, "Son Goku, is this all you have?" Frieza, that was just a warm-up. You have to be prepared for what's next. As soon as Sun Wukong finished speaking, the aura on his body suddenly surged again. The next moment, Frieza, who was originally suppressing Sun Wukong, was suddenly knocked away. Then Sun Wukong instantly moved in front of Frieza and punched Frieza in the abdomen. However, Frieza smiled coldly at this time, "Is that all the power you have? Son Goku, you can't do this. Even Son Gohan half a year ago was stronger than you. Frieza grabbed Goku's fist with one hand and kicked him thousands of meters away. Neither of them used energy attacks. In a pure physical battle, Son Wukong was clearly at a disadvantage. Son Goku laughed. Frieza, I didn't notice before, 3 of the horns on your head are missing, could it be that Gohan pulled them out? Frieza was furious. Damn it, both you and your son deserve to die. Ha ha ha, Frieza, I didn't expect that the Emperor of the Universe would also be frustrated sometimes. Go to hell, Son Wukong, I don't want to play with you anymore. Frieza hated Son Gohan when he thought of him. In a rage, the devil's wing pattern behind him suddenly flashed, and an aura even stronger than before came from him. Son Wukong showed a solemn expression, and at the same time, a purple-red energy began to gather between his hands. Frieza also began to gather energy, talent, destruction thunder. Suddenly, the entire barrier became pitch black, and on Frieza's demon wings, rays of destructive lightning flashed and then blasted towards Son Goku. Son Wukong dodged quickly, but the destruction thunder seemed to have locked onto Son Wukong, and he couldn't dodge it no matter what. In that case, Super Kamehameha Wave. The energy from Son Wukong's hands suddenly shot out towards the destructive thunder, and countless energy waves were ready to intercept Frieza's destructive thunder. Frieza said, it's useless, Son Goku, this is a talent I just realized recently, penetration. What? Impossible. The destructive divine thunder directly penetrated the Kamehameha wave and attacked Son Wukong fiercely. The destructive divine thunder directly made Son Wukong's whole body smoke. So strong, life shield. At the critical moment, Son Wukong had to hold up the protective shield to keep the divine thunder out. Thousands of divine thunders continued to attack, and when the last divine thunder was exhausted, Son Wukong's protective shield was also broken. Both of them began to breathe heavily. After nearly 30 minutes of continuous bombardment and resistance, even the true god was exhausted. Son Goku said, Frieza, I didn't expect you to be so powerful, but you will definitely lose today. Son Wukong was no longer hiding his weakness at this moment. The next moment, Son Wukong's body changed again. The original Super Saiyan God Purple Red third stage actually began to transform into a giant ape. At the same time, a violent aura came from Son Wukong's body. After breaking through to become a true god, the blood in Son Wukong's body began to awaken completely, allowing Son Wukong to revert to his ancestral state without relying on the blue light waves reflected by the moon. Soon, Son Goku's body had grown to nearly 300 meters long, with purple fur all over his body. He kept beating his chest with his hands, Frieza, Frieza, Frieza. He kept calling Frieza's name, and it seemed that Goku was unable to control this energy. He gradually lost consciousness, but he still remembered who his enemy was. Frieza was shocked. He felt his life was in danger from Son Goku, who had transformed into a giant ape. Outside, a fantasy was shocked. This aura is no less than that of a late true god. A net reinforced the barrier. A fantasy and a net pointed lightly at the barrier, and a burst of energy was suddenly injected into it, and the originally vibrating barrier calmed down. Son Wukong, who had transformed into a giant ape, suddenly spit out an energy ball from his mouth and pressed directly towards Frieza. Frieza's face was solemn and he dodged quickly. Although the energy ball was not a threat to him, Frieza did not want to waste his energy on resisting it. When the giant ape Son Goku saw that the other party dared to dodge, he roared, stretched out his arms, and grabbed towards Frieza. Damn it, if he catches me, I'm done. Frieza dodged quickly, but the giant ape Son Goku was also very fast, even not slower than before. Boom! Frieza was slapped down, and the next moment, another hand suddenly appeared where Frieza fell and held him in its hand. Hateful. A beam of light shot out from Frieza's eyes, but it had no effect on the giant ape Son Goku. Crack! Frieza felt as if his devil wings were directly broken, and he screamed in pain. Son Wukong, you forced me to do this. Frieza suddenly opened the protective shield, giving himself a moment to catch his breath, and at the same time the only horn of destruction on his forehead detached from his head. Destroyer horn, kill. After the horn of destruction left the body, it suddenly enlarged to nearly 100 meters in length, with a diameter of about 8 meters at the bottom. An astonishing aura of destructive energy emanated from the horn. Although the giant ape Son Goku had lost his mind, he still felt a threat to his life. He let go of Frieza, who was still struggling, and suddenly stretched out his hands, trying to grab the god of destruction. But how could Frieza do as he wished? Under the control of his mind, divine light shone from the horns of the god of destruction and he stabbed at the giant ape in a mysterious trajectory. The giant ape's son Wukong was caught off guard and his palm was pierced directly, and golden blood flowed out from his palm. The severe pain gradually made the irrational son Goku sober up. Where am I? Oh, Frieza. The next moment, Son Goku suddenly attacked. Frieza did not expect that Son Goku would suddenly regain his sanity. Before he could retract the horn of destruction, it was suddenly grabbed by Son Goku. No. Son Wukong, let go. Frieza was shocked. There were 4 horns in total, and 3 were destroyed by Son Gohan. Was the last one going to be destroyed by Son Goku? Frieza, are you nervous? Frieza said angrily, let go, this is my last divine horn, don't force me. Son Wukong threw it casually, here you go. Frieza immediately retracted his will and never dared to release it again. Outside, a fantasy said, Anet, don't you, a junior, know that the destroyer horn of your race cannot be easily separated from the body? Arnett was speechless, I haven't had time to hand it over to them yet. I thought they would have some inheritance, but it looks like these younger generations still need some training. Whether it's the devil's wings or the horns of destruction that the Ice Clan acquires after becoming gods, they can actually be used in conjunction with their racial talents. It's a pity that Frieza didn't know this, otherwise he wouldn't have acted so recklessly. The lethality of out-of-body attacks is high, but once controlled by others, it is easy for them to erase the connection with the main body. Fortunately, Son Goku did not erase the connection between the God of Destruction horn and Frieza, otherwise Frieza would have lost his last God of Destruction horn. Inside, the giant ape Son Goku, after returning the horns of the God of Destruction, began to attack Frieza fiercely. Facing the giant ape form of Son Goku, Frieza gradually lost his strength and was beaten back step by step. Ha ha ha, Frieza, what do you think? You've run out of tricks. If so, admit defeat now. Damn it, Son Wukong, I don't believe you can maintain this form for long. Son Goku did not defend at all and chased Frieza to attack him. Frieza's attack only broke his skin. However, as time passed, Son Wukong's divine power was no longer sufficient to maintain his transformation into a giant ape. About a quarter of an hour later, Son Wukong's transformation was broken and he returned to normal. After experiencing more than 10 minutes of tenderness, Frieza's breath became much weaker. The two continued fighting, returning to the beginning when they fought with physical strength. They fought for a whole day, and neither side admitted defeat. Ho ho! Frieza gasped, Son Goku, there's no point in fighting any further, no one can do anything to anyone. Son Wukong also breathed out loudly, then you should admit defeat right away. Impossible. How could I possibly lose to a stinky monkey like you? The two of them kept attacking each other, and by now, there was not a single intact part on either of their bodies. At this moment, the barrier suddenly opened, and a fantasy and a net separated the two men. Let's call it a draw. The grudge between you two is now written off. Son Goku and Frieza also knew that if they continued to fight, neither of them would be able to defeat the other. In this way, the two ended in a draw. Son Goku was taken by Vegeta and followed a fantasy back to the 6th universe, while Frieza was also taken back to the 7th universe by a net. In the battlefield of gods and demons, Chi Tian has returned with Gohan, Piccolo, and Trunks for almost 2 months. During these 2 months, the atmosphere in the entire battlefield of gods and demons has been depressing, and there seems to be a feeling that a storm is coming. In a palace near the true demon realm on the battlefield of gods and demons, 3 demons at the level of true gods gathered together, and dozens of demons took their seats, and it was unknown what they were discussing. In the Omni Palace, the high priest who had not been seen for a long time had returned, and even the Omni King had reappeared in the palace. Angel KS quickly reported the changes in the underworld, but the high priest seemed to have known about it for a long time and did not offer a solution. In the 1st, 4th and 11th universes of the lower world, the angels who originally provided support also received the message from the high priest, and then all the angels returned to the royal palace. It has been several months since Sun Tian learned that he was in the true demon realm. After several months of recovery, the Omni King's law of clearance has been completely eliminated. At the same time, Sun Tian's strength has also recovered to the peak of the true god. After several months, Sun Tian recovered his strength while slowly traveling, and finally arrived at the kingdom of Azura. During these few months, Sun Tian finally understood why the true demon realm was so powerful and there was killing everywhere. Fortunately, Sun Tian was strong enough. During these few months, no less than 1,000 strong men of the destruction level died at Sun Tian's hands, and as for those below the destruction level, the number reached tens of thousands. Is this the kingdom of Azura? I didn't expect that the inconspicuous Azura in my past life has become a true god. After more than half a year, Sun Tian crossed most of the true demon realm and finally arrived at the territory of Azura. At this moment, Sun Tian and Chi-Chi were walking in a prosperous city, followed by the Tianshu divine beast. 2 months ago, Sun Tian had completely recovered the strength of an early true god. At the same time, he was also able to connect the universe in his body with the outside world. After 2 months, the removal law left by the Omni King in Sun Tian's body had long been cleared away, and now Sun Tian has recovered to his peak combat power again. Sun Tian, who has reached the peak of true god, can easily cover an entire domain with his spiritual consciousness even in the true demon realm. If he has not recovered his cultivation, it may take Sun Tian several years to reach the destination. But now, Sun Tian can directly tear apart the space and make a great move even in the true demon realm. When Sun Tian arrived at the capital of Azura Divine Kingdom, he had already discovered several familiar auras. Moreover, in the entire capital of Azura Divine Kingdom, there were at least hundreds of thousands of people with a combat power of over 100 million. Although those with a combat power of over 10 billion were rare, Sun Tian sensed that there were at least 1,000 people in the capital of Azura Divine Kingdom. However, there were not many people with a combat power of 100 billion, and there were no more than 10 people in the entire capital of Azura Divine Kingdom. Sun Tian randomly found a restaurant and took Chi-Chi to sit down. After a while, a waiter came forward to serve them. "Sir, what would you like to eat? Bring up the best of your store." After Sun Tian finished speaking, he gave a reward of 10 true demon coins, and the waiter hurried to make the arrangements. In the true demon realm, the true demon coin is a universal currency jointly developed by the gods. It contains pure demonic energy and can be used directly for cultivation. In the past 6 months, Sun Tian has experienced countless battles, killing thousands of destruction-level powerhouses alone, so he naturally has no shortage of money. "Honey, are Chi Tian and Wu Tian really here? Why can't I sense their presence?" Sun Tian replied, "I'll ask around later." Logically, he should be there, but Azura has become a true god. Even I can't directly spy on his existence. After a while, the delicious dishes were served, and Sun Tian and his companions began to eat slowly. Not far away, several powerful warriors with combat power of several 100 million were chatting about something. One of them said, "Have you heard that in a few months, the daughter of Lord Ashura, Princess Aisha, will be getting married?" Everyone knows that Lord Ashura is also a legendary figure in our demon world. He became a demon god-level powerhouse in less than 30 years. Haha, that's right. Lord Ashura is my idol. You know, Lord Ashura has risen through battles and has experienced at least tens of thousands of battles. By the way, Princess Aisha is the apple of Lord Ashura's eye, and she has an excellent talent for cultivation. I heard that although Princess Aisha is only 18 years old, her combat power has already reached the destructive level. No way, this is too strong, worthy of being the descendant of Lord Ashura. I wonder who is so lucky to marry Princess Aisha. While eating, Sun Tian listened to other people's conversations in the restaurant, thinking that it is better to arrive at the right time than to arrive early. At this time, the people at the next table continued to chat. "I have heard of this. It seems that a few years ago, Lord Brother brought back a group of people from the lower world. One of them was Chi Tian." Chi Tian? Could it be the Chi Tian who fought against the true god of the angel race in the battlefield of gods and demons? Of course, you also know that group of people are extraordinary. Not long after coming to the true demon realm, they went directly to the god and demon battlefield. I heard that they killed a lot of angels, but Lord Chi Tian directly killed a true god-level angel. Speaking of Lord Chi Tian, he is also very powerful. I have a friend who works under Lord Gola. I heard that Lord Chi Tian is only 22 years old, but he already has the strength of a true god. I was wondering who could win the heart of Princess Aisha. If it was Lord Chi Tian, that would make sense. Then a group of people started boasting about the great achievements of Master Chi Tian in the battlefield of gods and demons. At the Ashura Palace, Sun Tian brought Chi-Chi with him, and the Tianshu divine beast followed behind him. He looked at the guards in front of him and said, "Please inform Ashura that our old friend Sun Tian is here to visit us." Ashura's guards are not ordinary people. Sun Tian sensed that their combat power is at least over 10 million. They hold a nearly 5-meter-long spear and wear armor. How dare you? Do you think you can call the name of Lord Ashura? Get out of here. The main reason was that Sun Tian and Chi-Chi were too ordinary, and their aura was not noticeable. With their strength as guards, they naturally didn't know that the man in front of them was a true god-level strongman, otherwise they would have reported it long ago. If the guard didn't feel that the Tianshu beast was not easy to mess with, he would probably have been ready to take action. At this moment, a familiar figure approached from a distance, and the guards hurried forward, Master Gora. A demon with a pair of curved horns on his head, solid muscles, and nearly 3 meters tall was walking slowly towards them, but his aura was many times stronger than before. Gola naturally saw Sun Tian and the others. When he saw Sun Tian clearly, he felt that he looked familiar. "Who are you?" The guard thought Gola was angry, and hurriedly said, "Sir, this man calls himself Sun Tian, and says he is an old friend of the Azura god. I will chase him away right away." But before the guard could make a move, he was slapped away by Goda. "Brother Sun Tian, is it really you?" The guard who was knocked away was confused. What was going on? Could it really be an old friend? Sun Tian replied, "Brother, I thought I would never see you again in this life." Gola walked forward and gave Sun Tian a bear hug, but unfortunately, although Sun Tian was not short, he was far inferior to Gola. "Ha ha ha. Let's go. Lord Ashura will be so happy to know you're here." Sun Tian pulled Chi-Chi in front of him and said, "Brother, this is my wife, Chi-Chi." Then he said to Chi-Chi, "Chi-Chi, this is my good friend in the Earth Demon realm that I told you about before, Brother Gora." Gola said, "Hello, sister-in-law, I am Gola, you can just call me big brother like Sun Tian." "Brother." Gola then asked, "When did you come to the real demon realm? I heard from Chi Tian that you were traveling around." Sun Tian said, "It's been almost half a year." Gola said, "You guys came at the right time. You are really good. Aisha is so picky that she just fell in love with your Chitian." Sun Tian was still confused. Although he had heard about it in the restaurant, he was not sure. Now that Gola mentioned it, it seemed like a good opportunity. "By the way, Brother Gola, did Chi Tian and the others cause you any trouble?" "No, but your whole family is full of monsters, whether it's Chi Tian or Wu Tian." "Well, stop standing here, go drink with Master Ashura." Azura and Mela got together not long after Sun Tian left the Earth Demon realm. Azura now has 4 sons and 1 daughter, and Mela is the first offspring of Azura and Mela. Azura was not surprised at the choice of his beloved daughter. Of course, Azura was still very satisfied with Chi Tian, who had reached the level of true god at the age of 22, and Chi Tian was the descendant of an old friend. More than 2 years ago, the entire demonic empire directly entered the true demon realm, which Ashura could hardly believe. The 2 true god-level fighters, Chi Tian and Bardock, destroyed Majin Buu at his limit, Caesar, Cell, and Vegeta at their peak, and Piccolo, Suru, and Son Goten in the middle/late stages. Azura never thought that after nearly 30 years of separation, Son Goten actually had a force in the lower universe that was not inferior to his. Although these people will not be under the control of Azura, with the relationship with Sun Tian, Azura has a certain confidence in the true demon realm. Over the past 2 years, Chitian and his group have been growing rapidly. Now, after Majin Buu returned to the true demon realm, he has recovered the strength of the peak of true god more than half a year ago. Chitian and Bardock have also made rapid progress. Chitian has now reached the middle stage of true god. It is said that even the strong ones in the late stage of true god may not be his opponents. Bardock has even fully mastered Super Saiyan 5, and his combat power is close to the peak of true god. However, compared to Chi Tian and others, Azura's cultivation is even more terrifying. More than half a year ago, Azura directly broke through to the limit of true god, thus becoming a true master of the entire true demon realm in one fell swoop. After breaking through to the limit of true god, the memories deep in Azura's soul awakened. Even Azura himself could not believe that he was actually the reincarnation of an incarnation of the ancient demon god. At the same time, Azura also has a considerable understanding of things before ancient times. After awakening his memory, Azura can be said to be standing at the top of the food chain of the entire true demon realm. Even the Omni King of the true god realm is at most on par with him. A few months ago, 3 spacetime channels led directly to the spacetime prison, alarming all the ultimate true gods in the 3 realms, true god realm, true demon realm, and Samsara realm. Azura, as a true god, naturally knew about it, but the true god realm and the true demon realm restrained each other, and with the god Azura fighting against the Omni King, the strong men in the true god realm did not dare to go to the lower realm to stop it, allowing hundreds of millions of strong men in the spacetime prison to escape, and the lower universe controlled by the angels suffered a serious impact. Except for a few universes that are still under the control of the angels, other universes are basically occupied by the strong men who came out of the spacetime prison. It is precisely because of this that the atmosphere in the entire battlefield of gods and demons is now tense, making the angels have no intention of recovering the occupied universe in the lower world. Of course, ordinary true gods cannot defeat them at all. Suddenly, 9 extremely powerful true gods escaped from the time and space prison, forcing the angels to give up their control over the lower universe. The ancient demon god was a super powerful being who had transcended in the ancient times. Although one of his incarnations was forced to self-destruct by the ancient angel king who had just transcended, he successfully changed the fate of the true demon realm, so that it was not cut into countless small underworlds like the samsara realm. It was only restored not long ago. As the reincarnation of the ancient demon god, Asura was naturally blessed with advantages after returning to the real demon world. It took him only a few decades to reach the level of a true god. Now, he has awakened his memory and become a top master who is infinitely close to a true god. In the 3 realms, I am afraid that apart from the dragon god Salama, the Omni King, and the Zo, there is no rival at all. Even the ancient god of death who has recovered to the limit of a true god is probably a few points behind. Moreover, after Asura was reincarnated, he was basically an independent individual. Even the ancient demon god had no power over the reincarnated body of this incarnation. Unlike the Omni King and Salama, if their original bodies wanted to take them back, they would have no room for resistance. Of course, they were the same person and could not resist. Asura, on the other hand, is more like the offspring of the ancient demon god. He is already an independent individual with greater room for development. It is even possible that he may become a being above the true god like the ancient demon god in the future. Of course, the reincarnated Asura is completely different from the ancient demon god. Even the other extremely powerful true gods in the true god realm do not know that Asura is the incarnation of the ancient demon god. Moreover, it is impossible for Asura to tell others his true identity about such a thing. The capital of the Asura kingdom is not very big. After all, Asura became a god only in recent years. The entire capital is nearly half the size of the earth, and the Asura palace is located on the Asura mountain in the north of the capital. The entire mountain is nearly 100,000 meters high. A no-fly barrier has been set up on the mountain. Unless you are a true god, you can only walk up the mountain even if it means destroying your limit. Although Sun Tian could fly up directly, he also knew that he had to give some face to Asura. At the foot of the sacred mountain, Gola had already asked the guards to notify them, and then Gola led Sun Tian and his wife and slowly walked to the top of the sacred mountain. Along the way, the few of them kept sharing their experiences over the years and kept moving towards the top of the mountain. Soon they passed the halfway point of the mountain. Sun Tian had not thought that Asura and the others would have such an experience back then. From what Gola said, when they first arrived in the real demon realm, their lives were very hard, but fortunately they persisted. Suddenly, Sun Tian felt a heart-pounding aura coming from the sacred mountain. Even compared with the Omni King he had met before, it was not much different. The next moment, a familiar figure appeared not far away. "Brother Sun Tian, it's really you." The person who came was Asura. After hearing the report from his subordinates, he teleported over directly. "Master Asura, it's been more than 20 years since we last met. I never thought that you have already reached the limit of a true god." Sun Tian felt a powerful force from Asura. He had heard from Gola before that Asura had just broken through to the level of true god a few years ago. He did not expect that he had already reached the limit of true god now. "Ha ha ha, aren't you also at the peak of true god? I think it won't be long before you can also reach the limit of true god. But I really miss the old days." Asura's family knows his own business. The reason why he was able to break through so quickly has a lot to do with his previous life. He just didn't expect that Sun Tian had also reached the peak of true god. There is no mistake in the poem, post, content, and read the book on 6, 9, and bar. Although I had heard from Chi Tian and others before that Sun Tian had reached the level of a true god many years ago, it still felt incredible when I saw it in person. "Okay, don't just stand here. I've asked the people downstairs to prepare a sumptuous banquet. Let's eat and chat at the same time." They soon reached the top of the mountain. Standing on the 100,000-meter peak, they had a panoramic view of all the gods in the Asura kingdom.